Welcome, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining
Yeah,
us.
yeah. This would be our first live, and so thank you for being patient. Um, our, our, our objective here is to connect with friends, people that we've, uh, we've already met, and ones we have not met yet. Friends who are part of the Jehovah's Witness organization, who may still be in, and who are interested or who have gotten out or who are interested in getting out and finding out what it means to do that. And so many, what we found already, so many people, so many friends have contacted us and let us know that they find themselves in a very lonely position after they've chosen to get out because they've been basically alienated. It's called shunned by the rest of the congregation and even possibly their family. And we've extended our phone number and email out to them to connect with them. And then what we're doing is helping them connect with other friends. And we're finding that it's been very helpful for them, and we're very glad. And so that's what we're continuing to do. We're continuing to reach out to people, to friends who are looking to reach out and to be reached out to. This is what we have started to do ever since we left. Just a little background. Um, we we were in Jehovah's Witnesses for 36 years. Came in when we were 33. We were not born in. And we since also had raised 4 children in it. At this point, they're shunning us. So in other words, for around how long? A year and
Okay, so we left about 2 years ago is when we woke up
2 years. Yeah.
and they started shunning us.
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah.
Almost immediately.
Yep.
Unofficially, immediately. Um, and so now.
So it's been a year that we disassociated. The
Yeah.
reason we disassociated because we kind of went back and forth what we should do, and we wanted to go public. And we were on Wendy Renee. She interviewed us last January, so it'll be a year. And from that interview, we've had so many people reaching out to us. Plus, we were on 6 screens,
Yeah.
and we just wanted full disclosure, and so we were willing to risk losing our family so that we could help so many, many, many others, and that's what we've been doing this past year.
Yeah. We don't want to make it seem like we wanted to lose our family.
Mm-mm.
See, we worked hard to direct our family into that organization. So I feel personally very responsible for having done that. And at this point, I want to make sure that there's it's totally clear that we want to show them how to get out of that organization. I don't want to deceive anybody. Don't want to make them think that we're unsure. We're very sure, and we we look forward to them making their own decisions about that. And we want to leave a clear example of what it means to do that. And we're trying to do that. And we truly appreciate all the help of all the other friends and all the other channels. Just for example, not only Vern's and Shauna's here, but initially, Fran mentioned Wendy and Renee, as well as Rick Farron on 6 Screens of the Watchtower, who we've been on previously. Uh, and we found so many friends through that channel. We truly appreciate the hard work of all the ex-JWs who are content producers on YouTube, and we're very glad that they've provided so much support for anyone who has been struggling to know what they should do and to help make a decision. In the process, so many who have made the decision have found themselves in a very lonely position, whereas they had many associates. I'm not going to call them friends, but they were associates within the organization. Now they find themselves without any association or any friends. And at that point, we we reach out to them because now we have a number of people who they can connect with, and we're very thankful for that. I have to give credit to someone who did reach out to us.
He's right here. He's listening in.
He's listening in right
Yep.
now. I won't mention his name, but he's here. And well,
Others may know him.
oh yeah, Ken. Well, Ken will mention your name. Ken Mayo.
Ken Mayo
Yeah,
was the first one we reached out to.
And he's been so supportive, tremendously supportive, a true friend, and we truly appreciate that. And we're just following that example of reaching out to others, just like he reached out.
Because we first saw Ken on Wendy Renee, right? It was like a few weeks after we woke up, and he gave his phone number, and we said, "Look, Joe." I said that. I said, "Look, we can call him." So we called him, and we left a message, and he called us back, and he called us like every single day. He was, worried about us because our family. We told him our whole background, and every single day he would check on us. How you doing today? And he would tell us maybe a funny story, or tell us, "Don't worry, it's going to be okay." And he really reassured us because we were frightened. We had never done anything like this before. It was really changed our lives.
Truly reached out and truly showed himself a friend.
Yep.
And we're convinced that's what friends are. Friends are someone literally sticking closer than a brother. Literally closer than a brother. We appreciate that. And that's the example that we want to not only continue to live by, but also extend to others and have them do the same, because it's friends are very nice. They're very nice. They're out there. At this point we have a list of what?
At least over 200 people.
People who would connect with each other. And just as recent as yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yesterday we had just really briefly, we had a couple call, or they texted us first, and we called them right away. And they've only been out 9 months. I won't give much information about them, but they have been in for 25 years. They were not born in. They have a daughter and a son that are both married. They're soon to be grandparents, but they are so afraid because their children are shunning them, and they're afraid that they're not going to see their grandbaby. And it was just so sad. And the wife said that she'd been to 4 therapists, reading and watching all kinds of videos, but she said talking to us person to person really just made her day, and she started crying. And Joe said, what did you say to her?
It's something that we've been seeing. It's like, as dire as their circumstances as when they call, after the call, their life changes. Mm-hmm. It just does, because they've been opened up to other friends. And that's that's what's so desperately needed. We need to open up to other friends, people that love you.
And so when someone calls, right away in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, who would be good for this person? And this person just popped right into my mind because they had so many similarities. And so we gave them their name, and then we did a 3-way call with someone else. Well, we can mention, maybe not, maybe we won't. But we did a 3-way call, and they were talking with her, and they just were so excited. And now the other couple, they're going to meet together next month because they live close by. And they just can't wait to meet each other. They have so many similarities. So that's just one example.
This is what we're seeing over and over and over. So anyone who's out there right now, who if you're looking for interaction, friends, someone to talk with, whatever, they are out there. They're all out there. You have friends among yourselves, but you don't know it yet. You can find it out as soon as you contact either us or whoever. Mm-hmm. But we offer ourselves our phone number for that.
And so we had, we've got a book of names, and we have them by state, and we have them alphabetical. So if I forget their name, I can look. Oh yeah, they're in Oregon. Okay, I'll just look up Oregon and I'll find them. Mm-hmm. But now with this channel, we're able to see people and you'll be able to talk. So if you want to call in, there's a link right there to StreamYard. All you have to do is go on that link. And we already have Gary,
Yeah.
Gary Alt. He's not in the picture yet, but there's Gary. We interviewed Gary on 6 Screens.
Yeah.
And Gary and us go way back. He was an elder in our son's congregation when our son was at Wallkill. He was at Bethel. And we went down to visit his congregation and we met Gary. But Gary said, "Oh, I can't stay. I've got to go play." He's a musician. So at the time, I think you were an elder, Gary. But you couldn't stay. We were over your house and we were having lunch or something, but you said, that's all I remember is I can't stay because I've got to go play. You had some band and you were going to go play. So I don't know. How do we get Gary?
I think we just do that. But Gary, if you're there, you can bring
to
on.
Stage. Whoops.
Hang on. Okay.
There you go.
Gary. Hi, Gary. Are you with us, Gary?
Wait a minute, Gary. We can't hear you. Are you muted?
Let's see.
Shauna, we can't hear Gary.
Oh, now I'm unmuted. Can you hear me now?
Okay. Yeah,
there we
now
go.
We can.
Okay.
Yes.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, we just introduced you. If you want to say something for a few minutes, we've got other people waiting. But
yeah, we invite others to either share a little bit of their background. What the theme of what we do, it's called the outside story. Everyone knows the inside story. The inside story is filled with all sorts of problems. The goal now is for friends to develop their outside story, and that's where they can find growth and freedom.
Right.
So, and we know you've developed quite an outside story.
Yeah. Let's see, where do I begin? Basically, I like immediately the first, like day one of when it all hit me, the stuff that was kind of like leading me out. I immediately realized that this brotherhood thing is just nonsense. It just doesn't exist really. It's a fantasy. But it was several years before I actually made the effort to find out. I was trying to prove to myself that this is the truth because I wanted to stay connected. Even though I hadn't gone to a meeting in a couple of years and I had no intentions of going back because I was so uncomfortable in that environment. So I think the interesting thing is you just made me think of this a minute ago in your introduction. Is that for me, when I first left, it was circumstantial. And it was because of being mistreated, very mistreated, not just like a disgruntled, how they always say that these apostates, they're just disgruntled. They're just upset about something personal, like they're just selfish little kids, Yeah. But no, it was a major thing. But because I thought it was still the truth, I wanted to stay connected. My reason for not going back was just because I couldn't stand being in the Kingdom Hall anymore. I couldn't stand the environment,
Powerful.
But it wasn't until, I don't know, I want to say about 4 years. I should know this by heart by now, but like about 4 years after all this stuff happened, and I was disfellowshipped by committee, that I actually, and maybe it was even 2 years after that I did some research and determined, oh my God, this is not the truth. And that was not what I was trying to do. I was trying to prove it is the truth because I was like getting kind of panicky, And I said, oh wow, and it was even a couple of years after, or not a little while after that I found out about the pedophilia and all this stuff. So now my reason became my conscience will not allow me to be associated with that organization. The principles are just too lofty. I can't possibly step into one of those Kingdom Halls again because I'd be supporting an organization that on a worldwide scale, they don't promote pedophilia or think it's okay, but because of a couple of their idiotic ideas and practices and literal interpretation of scriptures, they just let it happen. Just they're so lax about it. So I said I can't possibly be. So for the first time, I just kind of made that connection that that my initial leaving had to do with just couldn't even stand the environment. But then over time it became, no, my conscience can't even allow me to go back. So I think that might be of interest to anyone that might be listening who is, you know, every once in a while I find somebody that's kind of toying with the idea of going back, maybe because they miss the association of people that are shunning them, or, you know, for whatever reason. And what is forgotten is that to do that is probably going to be contrary to your own principles, to your own self. And that's how it got for me, anyways. Where I cannot step foot. I mean, look, if I got the opportunity to go there for a wedding or a funeral, I would do it, you know. But I mean, to go back to sit through a Watchtower study or something, there's just no way I could even stand it. So
So some would say that you awakened or woke up.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and what we find is that there's so many that, if I can use an illustration, they may have awakened or woke up. It's like you're lying in bed, you're awake, but they didn't get up.
Right.
They're awake in bed, but they didn't get up.
Right.
And then there's that point where something gets the person up and to make that decision. And
I gotta walk over to the stove, but I'm gonna be listening and talking.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
And with waking up, and we're finding this, and again, these just as an illustration, you can wake up because you see nice things or hear nice things, like you hear the sun coming through the window. Maybe you hear the voices of someone in the house, or maybe you even smell something attractive like breakfast. That's one attractive thing to get up for. The other thing that could get you up could be the smell of the house burning down. And that's not very attractive. That's alarming. And see, that's what happened with many, is that they got hurt. They found something, they were abused from the congregation, which is so common. It's so common and likely to happen. But because of the policies and the activities, the elders, they could very easily be mistreated or abused. We're just relating for what gets people to finally move is the mistreatment.
Right. Yeah, and I think that you know, if we look back far enough, there's probably a good chance that we can remember instances of things that were questionable at the time.
Oh yeah.
That we thought, like, why did this elder talk to me that way? I mean, that could happen in any environment.
Yeah.
And we probably found ways of excusing it. Oh, it's still the truth. Oh, this is Jehovah's organization. These guys are, you know, have his spirit, so I have to adjust my attitude, you know.
Yeah.
And I think when we go through that kind of phase that you're talking about, the thing that finally makes it click and we say, I'm not going back in that building again. There's no way. It's when it's just become way too much. It's like, no, there is no justice in this. This is completely wrong.
Well,
There's no excusing it. In other words, we can no longer say, well, you know, it's an imperfect organization and the brothers are imperfect, but it is Jehovah's using it and it has his spirit. We can't say that anymore because it's gotten to be like the point of overload where it's like, oh my God, you know.
Well, with overload, some refer to it as putting it on the shelf. Just put it on the shelf. They'll take care of it later. Till finally you put so many things on the shelf and the shelf breaks because it's just beyond reasonable. Beyond reasonable. Well, and that's the most likely thing to happen. That's the most likely thing.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and unfortunately it's painful, but it's like, I mean, I went through an awful lot of pain. I'm sure everybody listening can agree, you know, can relate the same thing. And it's like, well, it's what had to happen because otherwise, if it wasn't for that, I would still be sitting in that chair in the Kingdom Hall, miserable as can be, just wondering how could they say these stupid things.
If I could interrupt, Gary, you were at Bethel.
Right.
And just a little promotion here. Gary wrote a book. I don't know if you write more than, okay, this is his book, Bethel Days. It talks about his time at Bethel, and you go through all the governing body that were there when you were there. What years were you there again?
I was in the early to mid 80s. So like that 4 years of 81 to 85 or something like that. So the governing body at that point was 15 guys.
Wow.
None of whom are alive now. Ted Jarrett was the last to go. So yeah, I knew every one of them personally, actually. You know,
And did
some very
you
well personally.
did you meet Ray Franz?
No, Ray Franz left. So I went there in October '81, and he had left. I don't remember exactly when. It was early '81 or
80,
something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I'm just
But he
reading
was
his
still
book now.
supposedly, you know, in good standing, to use that term. He had not been disfellowshipped. He was just sort of like, yeah, there we go. Yeah.
I'm reading. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah. So I read that back in 2018, and it really was. Well, anyway, he was people were still talking about him like they didn't know what to make of the whole thing, and they were just hoping that he was doing well and everything.
Yeah.
And what was really, really eye-opening for me in recent years, looking back on the whole thing, is the duplicity of the way he was being talked about versus what was really happening behind the scenes. Because if you read his book Crisis of Conscience, and he's not nasty in that book, he's not
Yeah.
No,
what people
not at all.
think of a typical apostate. He doesn't say anything bad. He doesn't assassinate anyone's character. He's just totally, you know, reasonable. But when you look at the timeline of when those final days before he was actually disfellowshipped, that was exactly the same time that an announcement was made to the Bethel family that you know, people have been asking how is Ray doing, and he's in Georgia and he's doing just fine. And that's, you know, they just abbreviated, but they said he's fine. Don't worry about it. You know, thanks for asking. The exact same time that this witch hunt was going on, and they were ignoring his letters,
Yes.
and then he was disfellowshipped. It was like,
Yes.
so they were basically lying to us.
Yeah.
That's what I look back on, and I think the whole thing was a lie.
They
And
just
immediately
wanted him
after he was
out.
disfellowshipped, it was open season on Ray France. Everybody's saying the most vicious things about, yeah, I know when I look back on it now, he really was, you know, this, and that. You know how people do that. Anytime anybody's disfellowshipped, they're like, well, you know, I always wondered why he, you know, did this and why he did that. And it doesn't surprise me. The same thing happened with Ray, except he was like the poster child for, you know, character assassination.
And the reason why they disfellowshipped him was because he ate a meal with Peter Gregson. And then they made disassociation just as bad as disfellowshipping, because before disassociation, you could still have a conversation with a person, you know, you just didn't, you know, weren't really close. But anyway.
And the thing is that those rules changed after Ray. And first of all, the guy was his landlord and his employer, so
I know.
how can he not talk to him? You know. But anyway, all the rules were changed afterwards. I mean, how is that fair? Can you imagine being arrested in New York State or whatever for a law that was enacted after you did? And I'm not talking about murder or something. Just something minor. The law was enacted after you did this thing, and then they're going to go back and arrest you, like in hindsight, like in retrospect. It's like, but that's what they did because they could do whatever they want, and the family's going to believe anything that they tell them. So yeah, it was an amazing time. It was an interesting time at Bethel for sure.
So Gary, considering that what you found that the societies, what they present and what they state and what they show are two different things.
Right.
And so what struggle or position does that put you or some of the friends in that are right now encountering that? What's the internal struggle that you found yourself going through?
You mean like when I first left? You mean, or
well, even before. In other words, you found.
Yeah. Well, I think that I started to see
going through right now.
Yeah. I think that around the time that I was starting to really, like there were so many things that were disturbing to me. Things I was hearing from the platform, the way the elders were almost worshipped and the governing body was almost worshipped. You know.
Yeah.
I saw that more and more, and I started to think that this is just wrong. And I know things happen. It doesn't surprise me. Anything that happens, even on a congregation or on a global level, things happen, and then you hopefully they deal with it, But I have never seen them address this virtual worship of the governing body, and they actually promote it. they would never say, you know, worship us, but the obedience and the regard was supposed to hold those guys. And so I started looking at that, and I started thinking, I can't be part of this. I just can't. It goes against everything I've ever. I've never been a man pleaser. I'm not going to start today just because they want me to, you know.
So what you're voicing is probably what so many out there right now are feeling. Right now,
Yeah.
who might be listening or maybe not listening, they're going through that same thing, and they're struggling with that because here they're not aligned anymore with the organization. They can't consciously, and now, but unfortunately, they don't have the support of anyone else. And this is what we're all about here. We're just about connecting the friends who are out there. And I
Right.
appreciate your input.
Yeah, thank you, Gary.
Maybe we can catch someone else too. So
Yes.
thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks.
Enjoy
I'll be
your
here.
dinner.
Yes,
Enjoy your
thanks.
dinner.
don't let it burn. Okay.
So thank you, Gary. Okay, so David, wait a minute. David,
Okay, there you go.
okay.
Oops.
Kick guest, huh?
Try again.
Add to stage.
Yeah.
Okay. David, you're on stage.
Hi, friend. Hi, Joe. This is your brother-in-law.
Yes,
How are you,
this
David?
is our brother-in-law, David. He's married to Joe's sister, Marcella.
Oh, I'm on TV now? Oh, boy.
Yeah, we can see
Oh, my
you.
God. I didn't expect that.
Wow.
That's all good. It's all good.
So David,
I just
hasn't
want to
appeared.
say, I just want to say congratulations that you're going to be getting your own YouTube platform. I wonder if I convinced you on that.
Remember, we were just talking
Probably.
recently. It's from the universe, David. You were part of the universe.
Because I was too
And I'm
lazy
part
to
of
do
the
it.
universe.
Because I was too
All right.
lazy to do it on my own.
No, we
That's
found-
okay.
And you supported us right from the very beginning.
Yeah.
I truly appreciate that.
David
No,
was, I was
Go
going to
ahead,
say,
Fran.
David, yeah, you and Marcella were the first ones that we told.
Yeah.
And
Right.
what was your reaction when we told you? And what did we say? What do you remember?
Well, I just remember Marcella and I leaving your house, and I just knew there was something not right. I could just tell by, I don't know, your body language and Joe's and just the way you guys were talking. And I looked at Marcella and I said, I don't know, there's something wrong with your brother or something like that. And as we were walking out, and you were and Joe were, walking us out to out of your house to the door, you stopped, and I remember Joe put his hand on my shoulder. He says, David, I got to tell you something. I said, what, Joe? And he goes, Fran and I, we're going to leave the Jehovah Witness. And I kind of looked at Marcella, and Marcella looked at me, and I looked back at you two, and I went, huh? I mean, was just kind of stunned.
Yeah.
So it was like, I couldn't believe what you were saying. I just, and then of course, Joe, knew obviously he knows I'm a writer. So he asked me to write something about the shunning, the terrible shunning that goes on because they both knew they were going to be shunned by their children. And I kind of fought that for about 24 hours. I said, I don't think I'm going to do it. And then after thinking about it, I said, sure, I'll do it. So I wound up writing a 5,000 word abstract about shunning.
And just
Oh,
for
well.
your information, David, that paper, that article, that expose is right on Shauna's platform.
Nice.
Yeah, Shauna, it's still up, right? It's called, what's the name of Shauna's? Is it Off the Grid? Are you there, Shauna?
I think it is off the grid, Fred.
But it's quite.
Yeah.
It's on our website for
Yeah.
reading or download. Fixing
Okay.
my faith. I guess
Hey,
you can
yes,
just go right to
I'm here,
Fixing My Faith.
and I'll put the link
All
in the
right.
thing. It's on Gone with the Grid.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
no doubt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I truly appreciate it, David. See, it's this kind of community that is what gives people security. Otherwise, they don't. They don't have any security. And we're finding so much other friends who are joining in, and it's. I'd like them to feel the same kind of support that we feel. I'd like them to. So if
Right.
anyone's out there now looking for that, we're offering that. It's there for others. There's so many others. There's so many others. Good people out there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I cannot underestimate the support that you guys gave us. I can't
Well,
underestimate.
happy to
Truly
do it.
appreciate that.
Happy to do it, and glad to know that you're going to have your own platform. And I'll be subscribing later today.
Okay. Thanks, David. Thanks.
All
Thank
right.
you.
I'm gonna take off and let somebody else come in.
Okay. Thank you so much,
All
David.
right.
Now maybe
All right. Take care,
there's
guys. Bye, Fran.
okay, you too.
Bye, David.
Peace. All right.
Now,
Bye bye.
now we see a Stephanie. If there's a Stephanie there, if a Stephanie would
Hi.
like, how are you?
Good. Can you hear me
Hello.
okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great.
Welcome.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate you guys so much. I've already subscribed to you. So my husband and I are 50 and 52. We woke up when we were 49 and 50. And your story gets me very emotional because we too lost our kids and our 5 grandkids. So, when I heard your story months ago, there doesn't seem to be like a whole lot of us that have adult kids and I know you don't have grandkids, but the grandkids, and we were a very tight family.
Uh-huh.
These were not um, kids that we only saw, once in a while or lived in another state. These were kids that we watched our grandkids every week, like Fridays usually, because our one daughter and her husband, they have 4 kids, and they would go do a date day on Fridays and drop the kids off in the morning, and they'd go surfing. We're here out on the West Coast. They'd go surfing and go to lunch and maybe do some shopping and stuff like that, and then come back to our house, and we'd have family dinner and stuff. And we've lost all of it. We've lost all of it. They won't have anything to do with us. We haven't seen the grandkids in a year and a half. My mom died unexpectedly in April. It was very unexpectedly. She just got a brain bleed, and she's real healthy. But anyway, thankfully my mom died shunning me, and but thankfully my stepdad, he raised me. He's my dad. My dad did let me know she was in the hospital and that I could come say my goodbyes, with everybody. And so I was there when she passed away. But my 2 adult daughters wouldn't even talk to me at the hospital. I mean, it was outrageous.
So
I
sorry.
mean, it was
I
just
know. It is
outrageous.
outrageous.
And
It is outrageous. It is an outrage.
yeah.
It literally is. It literally is.
And then my oldest one, the one who I told you we watched their kids every week, with the 4 kids, when they found out we were leaving the religion, which we were gonna try to just fade away, and but
Not that easy.
they
Not
just
that easy.
I probably said a little too much to too many, like I said one little thing to one kid, one to the other. I said too much to my mom, and they were sharing this information.
See,
And
Stephanie, you were probably too close to fade away. You
yeah,
had too
It's like
close of a
us.
relationship. It just doesn't work that way with close families.
No, our family could tell immediately. Immediately, they said, "Mom, how come you're so blah? You used to be so zealous." And I said, "Well, things have changed."
Yeah.
And they could pick up little things. So that's, yeah, like Joe said, it's what happens when you have a close family. I'm sorry, I had to take a phone call. I missed the
Oh,
beginning.
yeah.
Did you say you're a grandmother of 4 or
5
more?
grandchildren, and
5
we
grand.
haven't
I'm so
seen.
sorry.
Yeah, we haven't been able to see them in almost 2 years. It's been about a little more than a year and a half. Um, and then, well, yeah, my mom died in April, and the adult kids wouldn't talk to me at the hospital. I tried to hug them because they're very close with my parents, and my mom died shunning me, and they just stood there like a stiff board, like, you know.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
some of the other witnesses there were not a lot nicer than my own kids, and the funny thing is, my kids, my adult kids, they're not even like devout witnesses. You know, they've got tattoos. Nothing great gets tattoos. I have a lot myself, but you know, they're just not your. They're not even, you know, elders, ministerial servants, or anything like that. They you know, they're not. I'm going to leave it at that. That they're not the most devout, and yet they have taken such a hard stance on this subject. And then when they found out we didn't believe it anymore. My oldest daughter, with the 4 kids that we would visit have every week, they sold their house up and moved to Montana. We're in California. And then the other one lives here in Orange County, California. And she's gotten tattoos just recently, even. I mean, literally, like right before they started shunning us, she had gotten them on her arms and stuff, you know. Like I said, I love tattoos. I'm not against that. I'm just trying to show you the craziness of the religion, that
You know,
they
there's so
can
many.
make their own rules up, you know.
That's
But when it
Stephanie,
comes to if you dare say anything against that religion, or you don't agree with everything, can't talk to you.
Yeah.
There's so many things happening so quickly that people, your family, our family, they really don't know how to react except that what they were told. It's really not their personal reaction. I really don't think it's their personal reaction. I don't think so. I think it's going to take them time to figure out what their personal reaction is. Because they're in our family, for example, they're all acting in unity, in unison. Well, I know they're all different human beings. And so until they come to that point, I think they're going to be behaving like like a group. And we're hoping we're hoping that just as you or we can develop an awareness, so can they.
That's
So
true.
can they. But it's just
Yeah,
going
I'm
to
never
take.
going to give up on them.
No,
Never going to give up.
There's no reason to.
No.
See, there's no reason we should act toward them the way they act toward us. You know,
That's
we don't.
right.
I know you, and I know you're not.
I don't know if you can see the comments, Stephanie, but there's so many people
No, I
that
can't.
are okay. They are sending big hugs from K. Fred. The CO visit says, "Damn it." The Debbie Moore says, "I'm so sorry, hun. Your heart must be broken." Love always wins, says, "Crying with you." And
That's so sweet.
so everybody's
you're
relating.
truly not alone, Stephanie. I can assure you of that. You're not.
Nadine is from, we met Nadine when we went out to California. She's in Orange County. She's wondering if you're anywhere near Orange County. You don't have to say where you're from.
I'm in San Diego County, and my daughter, my youngest daughter and her husband are in Orange County. She probably knows the family. I won't, say their names, but it's a very well known family, and they're very powerful because they are known to have a lot of money, and they're very high up in the, I like to call it church now, very high up, they're elders, ministerial servants, pioneers. And so they have a lot of influence in Orange County. I'm sure they would know this family that my daughter married into. Yeah.
Okay, so do you have our information? Are you on our list? Have you given?
I don't think I am.
Okay, if you want to either email us or call or
Email or
text.
call. Don't hesitate
And
to
we'll
Okay.
call.
and we'll get you in touch with Nadine.
Yeah.
Nadine Davies. She's right here.
And
So
what is your email?
okay, it's J.
Would you want a phone number? Which is so much
Sure.
easier.
Yeah,
quicker.
let's do that.
All right, here I'm holding it up.
Okay,
Our phone number, and this is
315
221.
221
Yep.
and what?
01.
0130
Yes, and we're Eastern Standard Time. We're in Central New York,
at G.
So-
Okay, and then there's J. Okay, got it.
and you can text us anytime, and you can call. As long as it's not too late, and
Yeah,
we'll
it's,
Oh yeah,
we'll
yeah.
connect you with Nadine. And there's actually like 10 people. We had a meetup
yeah.
at what was the name of the beach? Huntington. We went to Huntington.
Oh, Huntington. Yeah, I have a sister-in-law who's out of the organization that lives there.
Okay.
That's it's
So
a great
Nadine-
area.
Yeah, yes, Nadine came from her place and met us up in Huntington Beach, and there's Marissa.
There's no need to go through this alone. No
We
need.
have a really good XJW support group here in San Diego County. We
Oh,
meet
good.
every second Saturday of the month.
Oh, that's good. That's
Second
Yeah.
Saturday. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we have a right on xjwfriends.com. There's a place where you can put meetups, and
Oh.
if you could possibly go into
Yeah.
that,
Let me write that.
sign in, and put your information for
Yeah.
meetups. But this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to connect people. That's our whole
Yeah,
purpose.
and we'd like to, at some point, to come up with like a directory for friends,
Mhm.
but that's in the
Yeah.
future.
We've
That
started.
would be
it.
awesome. I too am starting a YouTube channel. In 2024. It's I don't have any videos up yet, but it's called Steph Woke Up, and that's my Instagram page. That's now as of last night, it's public now, and it's going to showcase. I don't know if showcase is the right word. It's gonna show the struggles and the joys of leaving the organization.
Yeah.
And I do plan on doing interviews, and
Oh, good.
I'd
Good.
love to have you guys on at some point. But yeah, so the Instagram's up, and it's my personal one. I just changed the name. It's the same thing. Steph Woke Up with an F. STEF as in finally.
Yeah.
And Steph Woke Up, and the
Steph
YouTube
Woke Up.
channel will be Steph Woke Up, but there's no videos on there at this point.
Great,
Yeah.
great. The more
Okay.
people that are making it vocal, the more find out. That's so great stuff.
All right, I'm gonna put that right in the comments. So it's Steph, STEF, woke up,
F. Yes.
just
Steph-
one F,
Just one F. Yeah.
and that's on Instagram.
Instagram. That's
Steph.
my handle name. Yeah. And that'll be my name on, I've already reserved it on YouTube.
Thank you, Steph. Steph, would you like to hear from another one? We've got another one waiting, another person that's coming in.
Yes.
Maybe-
Yes.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you
hang
so
on. You
much,
stay
Steph.
there.
Thank
Mwah.
Thank you, Steph. To
Thank
you
you.
too.
Mwah. Love you too.
Thanks.
Okay, and you're welcome. There's a Jerry. Is it Jerry? If you'd like, we can pick you up here. Jerry, is it? If I'm saying it correct, let me know.
Hi, can you hear me?
We
Yes.
can hear you.
Yeah.
Yes.
My name is Najiri.
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 Najiri, I love you all so much, Joe and Fran. Oh my God, I'm so glad you all have a channel. I love you. Oh, yes,
Thank
You're
you.
too good.
God, I love you. Who could, oh my gosh. It's
So,
nothing you could do any
Aw.
harm. But I came on here because recently I know my father was wanting to get a blood transfusion. And he wanted to do it. He never knew that I really wasn't. I was chemo, right? But I knew that his life was at risk, right? So I just let myself out, because I didn't want him to die, right?
Yeah.
And in the process of me doing that, of course, you know what happens. They cut me off and all that other stuff, and I cried till I just can't cry anymore, right? And he's still in bad shape. And I just told him, look, I'm gonna tell you goodbye because I'm not coming to the hospital to watch you commit suicide. And all those people around you from the Kingdom Hall supporting your murderers, right? Jehovah's Witnesses, the Jehovah's Witness organization is nothing but Jim Jones in slow motion.
I know. I know. I know. It's
You
one of
know,
those things. I know.
you think
Uh,
they would catch on when you're actually excited because a person says that you can wear a beard.
I know. I know. I know.
And
I know.
I even told my dad, I said, you know what? What if they changed the laws again? You die from a blood transfusion, and in 2 weeks, the way they're doing things,
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's
They would
okay to get a
okay.
blood transfusion, and
That's
it's a
right.
sin if you don't try and save your own life.
I know. I know.
And we're having your funeral.
I know.
It's just,
So,
I'm
so
just
now,
so glad
Jerry,
I'm out of it. It's just so
well,
scary that I could have killed one of my kids.
Oh,
I have
dear.
7 kids, and that scares me to be able to get out of it and know I killed one of my kids. I don't know why it's still legal. I asked
yeah,
him to. I even tried to reason with him on something that he could understand. But sometimes you got to use that Jehovah's Witness type of lingo. And I
yeah,
asked him, I said, what do you think the friends would do who died maybe 15 years ago or 20 years ago and they woke up to this?
mm-hmm,
What do you
mm-hmm,
think they would do?
mm-hmm. I
You
know.
know?
I know.
But
It's really an insanity that's going on. And so are you, so now so your father, is he is he shunning you, Najeri?
yes, I'm still here. It's an echo on here. Can you hear
Oh,
me? Okay.
Yes.
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 Okay, good.
So so is your father now? How's he doing?
He's an elder.
Was he the who needed the blood transfusion?
Oh, this is happening right now as we speak. He's really ill right now. And he's really weak, but he refuses to do it. And I think
Oh,
it's more so of a look, how you want to look a certain way. He's
yeah,
older, and it's the only thing he's really known, right?
yeah,
And
Yeah.
it's
yeah.
so crazy because once you die, they're not going to hang your picture up in the Kingdom Hall,
Hmm,
you know. And it's
yeah.
almost like now when one of the witnesses dies, well, they're going to get a resurrection, so it's like they're forgotten about.
I know.
We'll see them in paradise. It's just not that simple. And it just,
I know. I know.
so
Mhm.
that's pretty
Yeah,
much it. I don't,
and see that's the challenge of waking up. Your thinking is different. Your values are different. Um, and there are others that have retained the same old values, and that's a hard one to deal with. Um,
Have you connected with anyone? Do
yes,
you
I'm
need?
still here. Oh
Okay.
no, I'm not. Of course not.
Okay.
But you know
because,
what? I got a few friends, and I'm gonna tell you, Fran and Joe, I'm glad I was always a backslider who stayed marked and bad association because I wouldn't have any friends.
Uh,
yeah,
I
yeah.
never
Yeah.
thought I would say that as a Jehovah's Witness, that I'm actually glad I stayed marked for about 15 or 16 years. So nobody really associated with me anyway. But my
Oh,
dad,
yeah.
and I'm extremely
Right.
close to him, but you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just a
if
scary
you want to
thought that a
connect,
religion could have. Oh, I got that number.
Jerry,
Oh, wait a minute. Okay.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
if you want to
if I
connect
call that
with
number,
us,
is that your number?
yes, you can call us after the show, or we're in New York State. I don't know where you are,
St. Louis,
but
Missouri.
you're
I'm
Missouri.
gonna
Okay, so
call
that's,
you or text you and leave you my number because
yes.
I'm telling you, Joe and Fran, your phone is gonna be blowing up. we need
Well,
we
that's
need adopted
that's what we're
mommies
here
and
for.
daddies. I need a mommy and a daddy now.
Well,
Yes, well, we're here.
we're friends.
We're here.
We're friends.
I know. Joe says we're friends, and I say I'll be your mom.
Yeah, don't let go of your father.
No, 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 no.
Okay.
Um,
We love you.
yes,
I
I
love
see
you
you.
too. I love you too.
Thank you, Jerry.
Jerry,
Okay.
thank you so much. You connect with us, and maybe we can connect now. We can bring someone else on. Okay.
Okay. Love you too. I'm gonna let somebody else
Love you
talk.
too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Janelle.
Bye-bye.
Just to answer the question, I see you says Joe&Fran is your number a text number? Yes.
Yeah.
It's both. You
Yeah.
can call or text.
There's a Steve there. too,
Tom is next. I
There's
think
a
Tom.
Tom. Tom, you were here. If we can add you, you're adding right there.
Hi,
Hi,
Joe and
Tom.
Fran.
How are you,
Hey.
Tom?
Hi.
Congratulations on your
Oh,
the new website thing. Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
Vern and Shauna are the ones that should be congratulated
Yes,
for
they're the
helping us
ones
to do
helping
it.
us.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Hey,
awesome.
Tom,
That's
you're the
awesome.
Tom. Are you Tom from New Hampshire?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Good to
Yep.
meet you. Well, we good to see you.
Wanting the beard and
Got
everything.
a great-
Yeah.
I already had
Hey,
a beard, and now
Oh,
I'm approved.
you grow a fast beard, man.
Yeah, I just started on the 15th.
Yeah.
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 I think the first time Tom called us, we were at a cider mill. Remember that?
Oh yeah. That's
And
right.
we were talking to you. We were just,
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
taking a day and
Yeah.
enjoying the weather. It was beautiful. And we went to a local cider mill and we were talking to Tom.
Yeah.
And so, Tom, how long have you been out?
Well, it's weird because okay, so I was raised, and then at 18 I left, never got baptized. And then I got married at 25 and searched and checked all different religions, and I had already been studying off and on here and there with different stuff, and ended up my new wife ended up becoming a pioneer.
Wow.
She quit her job. She had a better paying job than I did.
Oh,
She quit her job to become a pioneer. And then eventually we had a couple of kids. And so it's been a long, long haul. So I would say, so around 94, well, I left in 86, and then in 94, I started again. And I studied with elders and circuit overseers and many different people, but I could never get the proper questions answered. The biggest question that I always wanted answered, and to this day, is how can the truth change? So if it was the truth yesterday, how can it not be the truth today? And
Yeah.
that has never been answered.
Yeah.
And I am
never
sorry,
will.
I am not just going to follow and swallow that,
I know.
So I
You ever-
never committed,
Well,
but I
you
still,
you
pardon?
ever give it a thought as to what keeps people connected despite seeing all that?
I think people just need easy answers, and,
Okay.
and they just, it's easy to, I don't know, critical thinking is not very popular, I don't think.
Not with not with them. You're right. What I always remember, and they always hammered this. They said you got to keep on pressing forward to the prize. The prize.
Yes.
Just keep that prize. They hold that carrot. They just keep dangling that carrot in front of people. And maybe my thought was, well, what? Maybe we don't deserve a prize like that. Maybe it's not for us. Maybe and you wonder. It's like, could it be greed? In other words, that people are actually greedy, and they want something that maybe they just can't have.
Well, That's a very good thought, and I think that it's human nature to be
Yeah, yeah,
self-preservation is
yeah,
very much human nature, and
yeah.
that prize is the most amazing thing anybody can promise. That they honestly do have the best. It's better than going through the gates of heaven to
Best
live
promise in the
forever on
world.
a
Yeah.
paradise
Best
earth.
promise. Yeah.
To live
But then,
forever on a paradise earth.
but look at the confusion though. They offer the best prize, but then they don't offer the best truths. I mean, they keep basically lying.
Mhm.
They keep basically changing everything and changing.
They do, but they do it
And
in a way that nobody really that isn't critically thinking. They don't
yeah,
notice
that's
it.
it. That's it. That's it. Well, I
Yeah.
guess we all have an ability to wake up at some point. And I mean, there's some that woke up much sooner than us, like you, and us, and we took longer to
Mhm.
wake up.
Mhm.
Like our relatives asked us, what kept you in so long? Why did you stay so long?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Because
it's a good question. What kept us in so long? And
we are good people at heart. We
yeah,
Yeah.
want to do the right thing,
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
you know? And that's why you guys are doing what you're doing because you're good people. And I love what you're doing. And I really want to be a part of it. Anybody in New Hampshire that wants to meet up, because I think that that
good,
is
good.
amazing what you're doing. You're being selfless. And
Well, we're
that
just looking
is,
for
that's what
we're just
Jesus
looking for
wants us to
good.
do.
We're just looking for good people like you.
And one of our expressions is good people find
Find
good
good people.
people.
That's what
And that's what
everything
happened.
that we found.
We took that trip all the way to California and
Yeah,
back, and everybody was worried about us. They said, you got to be careful. Here we are, 71. We're in a car
Yeah.
traveling, all these stops and motels and gas stations, and they
Mhm.
kept saying, "You got to be careful. You got to be careful."
Which we
Well,
were.
which we were, but we always found good people, and
Yeah.
thankfully.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I was going to say we know someone in Richmond, New Hampshire. I don't know if that's anywhere near you.
I've never heard of that town.
Wow.
Okay, well, I will send you her information, and if there's anyone else out there close by in New Hampshire, we can connect you with Tom.
That would be
And
perfect. I'm right in the very center, so
So
it's.
where
I'm
again?
only two. I'm 2 hours from Boston. Two
okay,
hours from Portland, Maine. You know. Yeah.
Wow.
wow, okay,
Okay.
that's not bad.
Fabulous.
Yeah,
Fabulous.
I got you in the book.
Making
Awesome.
connections.
Wait a minute, no, this is my
Thank
book.
you guys
Got
for doing
You
what
know,
you do,
and
and
yeah.
congratulations. I love it.
Well,
Thank
It's
you, thank
and
you.
thank you for making yourself available too,
Yes.
because there's other friends out there that, well, they're looking for you. They're looking for you.
Oh, and I
you
don't know
know,
if you know,
and
but Rick
this is
Fearon is.
against my better judgment what I'm doing right now because I still have a son that is he's striving to
Yeah,
become, like a ministerial servant and stuff.
Yeah.
And
yes.
I would
Wow.
hate for him to think that,
Yeah.
and to know, you know what I mean? And I have like
Right.
7 aunts that are all witnesses and a
Wow.
lot of cousins and everybody, so this is against my better judgment, but I'm doing it only because I just really appreciate what you guys are doing, and I just
Thank you
want
so
to be
much,
a part of
Tom.
it if you can.
I
Thank you.
appreciate it,
We
Tom.
appreciate your courage.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
takes
Yeah.
courage to come out, what you're doing,
Yeah.
and to help others.
Yeah.
That we're
And,
all in this
and
together.
every day something's happening. Every day more people are just waking up. You
Yeah,
never know. You never know.
yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
know
no,
people. We know people in Boston, so if it's not too far, that would be a nice meetup. But I was going to say that maybe you heard Rick Fearon is planning
yeah,
a big.
yeah.
I'm not going to say
Still
convention
I
alive
because
in
hate to
that
say
2025.
triggers us.
I hate to say convention.
It's going to be a big meetup. It's
Big
going to be
meetup.
a
Big
conference,
meetup.
and it's going to be in 2025.
Yeah.
And the theme is
Stay alive
stay alive,
or still alive in 25.
still alive
Yeah,
in
still alive.
25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still alive
Well,
in
just so
25.
you know, I remember the stay alive till 75 because that's about
Wow.
Wow.
when
We missed that.
Yeah,
I
we
was
missed
missed
just
that.
it.
like a youngin'. like 5 or 6 years old when my mom was just coming into, into this. So yeah,
Wow.
I remember that.
Well, they
But
hid
they
that from
also
us.
got
We came in '85 and we didn't hear
Did not know
anything
anything
about that.
about 75.
They really knew how to keep that secret. Yeah. Wow.
Thank you
so.
so much.
Anyways, I wished Rick the most success, and
Oh,
that I
he's
think it's
doing
a
awesome.
wonderful idea. I hope this works out, and I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it will be
Yeah.
probably a little better than he thinks,
I'm sure
I
it
think
will.
so.
especially with people like you guys.
And
You know,
And you too.
everyone,
All of
everyone here.
us. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Tom.
Tom.
Thank you.
Stay in touch. Give us a
Thank
call
you.
when you can.
Yes.
I will, and
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Stefan has been really patient.
Stefan.
Okay, Stefan, you're on.
Hi, hi, everybody. I don't know if you guys
Oh,
can hear me okay.
Yes, we can. Perfect.
Okay.
So,
Okay, great.
are you?
This is
Are
the first
you?
time
Are
being on camera because my office is not really set up for that. So I have no idea what I look and sound like. So you
Oh,
let
you
me
look
know
great.
looking
how I'm
good
You
doing.
look great.
with a good looking beard.
And there you go. And I owe you a picture. I meant to take it
Yes.
at dinner the other day and forgot, but I will get you that as
That's
soon as
okay.
as soon
We
as I get
forgive you.
cleaned up one of these days.
Oh yeah.
We forgive you. I think Stefan and us came out about the same time because you made a comment. You were on 6 screens when we were just coming out. So it's been about 2 years. Is that about it for you?
No, so you and I are joined at the hip because we called Six Screens at this on the on the same day. But I've
Really?
been
Yes.
out. I've been out
Wow.
even before Corona. So
Wow.
I think I've
Okay.
been out more like 4 or 5.
Okay.
Um,
Wow.
and
Wow.
I didn't know anything about Six Screens. I was literally working one day on a Saturday, and I just was listening to some stuff
Yeah.
on YouTube, and something Six Screens popped up, and I said, "Well, what is this?" I
Yeah.
didn't have a clue that this
I
whole
can't even
world
remember.
was out there.
You found it.
I,
Yeah. It popped
and
up on yours too.
And I'm trying
Yeah,
to
it just
remember.
popped up. I never heard of it. I didn't even know
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
existed. I would have definitely
Yeah.
been listening all that time, and then after that, I don't think I've missed a Saturday unless I
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
had some
Same
obligations.
here.
But
Yep.
that's how you and I are joined at the hip is because we
So
called in at the exact
I'm
same
gonna
time.
test.
That's
I'm gonna
beautiful.
test your memory, Stefan. So what date
Uh
was? Do you know the date?
oh no, I don't, and I should have
I
written it down.
I've been trying to figure out when we first called in
You
because
still
we were outside having a fire. I think it was like the summer, wasn't it?
Nope, it
summer.
was the winter.
Was
It
it
Winter.
was the
winter?
Yeah, it was winter because I was working in the garage, and it was
Okay.
kind of cool. So it
Okay.
might have been if it wasn't
Okay.
the
Well,
fall,
maybe
it
we
was
had a
starting to
fire.
change. So maybe like October.
Okay, we could have been having a fire then.
I'm trying.
But
It coulda.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we had had a fire that night, and then um, what's his name was supposed to come on. Reese was
Yeah.
supposed to come
Yeah.
on, and
okay.
Rick kept saying, "Reese, are you there? Are you
Yeah.
there, Reese?" And so, and then he said, "Anyone want to call in?" And so I go, "Joe, we can call in." So that's when we called in.
I said, go ahead, Colin.
Yeah, and I remember because, like I said, that wasn't the first time I found the show. I had been listening to the show probably for a couple of months. But
Right, same here.
and every time, and I kept thinking because he would always, Mr. Farron would always say, I would love if someone new who has never called in would call in. And I would
Yeah,
get so scared and embarrassed because
I
I'm like,
know.
I don't know
I
what to
felt the same way.
say, and
I didn't want to call in.
I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to talk about.
I
And when
married
you
Fran
guys
because she
called
always
in,
knew what to say.
yeah,
Yeah, no.
there you go. Yeah, but when you guys called in, I said, you know what? I'm going to call in. I don't care what. I don't care if I sound stupid.
No.
I'm just going to call in because it just seemed to make Farron so happy when somebody new would call in. So
it
I said, well,
does.
let's
It
give him
really
two.
does.
Let's give him two for the price of one. And
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
think
that's
I've stopped
fun.
calling in since then.
Yeah.
And
Well.
yeah, so
Okay.
I find it very happy to
It
call
all
in
means,
and just
you know,
contribute.
it's right. It just means a lot to each other. It does.
Yeah, we
It
It
really
really
does.
does.
appreciate you calling in
You know.
and coming on the show. And
Hmm.
being part of this. It really
Yeah.
helps the
Yeah.
whole community.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
I know you're trying to connect with others, Stefan, and you keep telling me like you're near Illinois. Go ahead, tell
Yeah.
the folks where.
Yeah. So I'm in Illinois. I'm near the Indiana border. I'm maybe 30 minutes from downtown. So basically, Chicago. I'm closer to Chicago than I am anything else. But Illinois is a big state, so I know that there was one
Yes,
family, but they were far. I think when I looked it up, they were 4 hours away or something, and I just like that's not going to work. But yeah, so
right,
Chicago, close to the Northwest Indiana border.
Northwest
Gotcha.
Indiana.
Okay.
Okay, so if there's anyone
Hmm.
out there um,
You don't
looking to meet up,
you don't mind talking to someone else?
Not at all.
Good. 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 I
Not
love
at all.
talking to
Not
you.
at all.
Good. Okay.
I'm sorry I came in a little bit late. I think I got in about a quarter after, and there was a gentleman that was talking.
Gary.
And he reminded me of something. He was talking about. He brought up how Watchtower hounded Ray France out and sent spies to see what he was doing. If you remember, there's been a number of times since we've probably all been listening, and people have called in and said just the most disgusting things on any one of Rick's shows, and he always
Yes.
says those are Watchtower agents. And I
Yeah.
have to be
Yeah.
honest, I thought that was really strange. I'm like, Watchtower agents calling in on your show? That just doesn't make any sense. But then when you think about what that gentleman reminded us of what happened to Ray France, and I'm
Yep.
just finishing up 30 Years of Watchtower Slave by
Mm-hmm.
Richard Schnell. The same exact thing happened to him.
Yeah.
Watchtower sent spies to see what
Well,
he was doing. He was operating a bookstore, and one of the things he sold the most was Bibles. He
uh,
wanted to get good quality Bibles into the hands of people so that they could see that the Watchtower Bibles had been changed. And
right.
constant people were coming in with no intent to buy. They just wanted to see what he was doing, what he was up to. Then they were reporting it back all the
Yeah.
way to headquarters. And so eventually they um, drummed up some charges and had him disfellowship. And when
That's
I
it.
put all that
That's it.
together, I said, it is true. They are,
Yeah.
Watchtower does have
Well,
people.
well, Stefan, look, there
Hmm.
are, I know that there are ones that are listening in right now on these different XJW broadcasts.
Right.
They're listening because they want to find out, what's going on. And honestly, I welcome them. I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad they are. I mean,
Hmm.
it's something that they need to understand what's going on with the friends and the people.
Right.
And so they're listening right now. I say thank you so much for being here, and
Yeah.
just remember, who we are, who you are,
Mm-hmm.
and welcome, welcome
Yes.
Right.
to welcome to friends.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you, Steph.
Thank you,
Steph,
Stefan.
we're
Good
gonna
to see you.
welcome Chelsea in if she wants to come.
All right.
And
Bye bye.
Stefan, call when you can. Love you.
Love you too.
Love you.
That's
Hey,
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Hi, Fran and Joe.
Hi,
Hello,
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
So
How are you?
glad you could come on. Oh, could I just say something? There's a little thing up here that says when you call into the show, you can choose to hide your camera and go voice only. So that's what Chelsea is doing.
Yeah, which is fine.
And we know Chelsea personally. She comes to most of our
Meetups. Yeah.
meetups, and she's close by. I'm not going to give too much
No,
information
no, no,
because they
no,
still
no, no.
have family members in. But what did you want to say, Chelsea?
I just wanted to let you know that I can't stop myself when I see the carts.
Uh,
I saw someone in a cart today, and I had to point out that they are promoting child sexual abuse.
hmm.
And I know
Yeah.
that I've shared this before, that I do this sometimes at the train station
Yeah.
when I have any errands to run and I see them outside.
Wow.
I did this today. I'm currently not in um locally. I traveled a bit this week, and the response that I got was that I shouldn't believe what the media says, and that the other side, the people won't hear the other side, meaning their side. And I, like, at that point I just gave up and left. But it
Yeah.
is infuriating that they're their stance is you shouldn't believe what the media says, but a couple of years ago, they very much wanted us to believe what the media
That's
said.
right. That's so true. That is so true, Chuck.
So,
You know, that little bit of what you confront them with, I'm sure is very powerful for them. It really is. They are listening. They are
Mhm.
listening.
You know, it took us a couple years, Chelsea, but that's the first thing. One of the friends at the Kingdom Hall, it was right at the Kingdom Hall, and we were at the back, and she said, you know, I don't give money to the organization because they're hiding child
Yeah.
sexual abuse. And it kind of went in one ear and out the other. I mean, it kind of hovered around there, but it was at least one, two, three, at least 3 years before Joe was brave enough to go online. And sure enough, we found the ARC, and that's what everybody says. You can't believe it. You know, it's apostate. They're lying, and it never happened here. They say
Yeah.
when we confronted the elders, we went right to the elders. We said, "Hey, this is what we've heard. Oh no, you can't believe that." And you can, because we talked to people that it happened to,
Yeah.
so we knew firsthand.
Yeah. And what you're doing, you're showing them how to be brave, Chelsea. You're showing them how to be brave, and I'm sure they're taking note. They are.
Yeah, we're so proud of you, Chelsea.
Yep.
thank you. I hope you guys have a lot of success with your channel.
Oh,
Thank
look,
you.
we're seeing people connecting with each other. They're having the success with each other. That's what it's all about. It is. They're friends. You're all friends, and you're beautiful.
Yeah, and Chelsea, you know what it's like coming to a meetup. Well, what are your feelings about meetups? What could you tell the other friends?
They're really lovely. I really enjoy going when I can because it's just nice to know that there's no judgment and everyone can share what they want and nobody has any bad feeling toward it. It's like everybody had such a different experience in the organization
That's right.
and everyone has something to share and relate to. So it's very lovely. And also just having you guys as like such an example of it is not so bad on the other side.
Mm,
It is very meaningful to a lot of people that go.
yeah.
It is, it really is. And we had 3 new ones come the last time, and we knew them from previous, acquaintance. And one of them opened up, and he's been out for quite a while, but he really opened up. He just felt so comfortable
Yeah.
with everyone, and
Yeah.
he shared things that he probably hasn't shared with most people, because he said when he left, he became like a hermit because of what had happened to him. It was horrible how he was treated, how his wife cheated on him with her best friend's husband, the dirt that they put on him that wasn't true. And he was not disfellowshipped, he was not disassociated. And he said, so now he's like our detective. He's doing detective work for us, finding more people in our area. So we really recommend anyone trying to organize meetups, even if it's a one person, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and Chelsea, Fran maybe didn't tell you, but we found a nice couple contacted us yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and they were in very difficult condition, lonely for too long, fearing losing their family, and with no friends at the time there at all. And I told them, well, we have friends here, and we connected them, and then they come back and tell us they're very happy.
Yes.
It's just what's happening.
Yeah.
You know, the friends are out there. You are out there. And you connect and you like each other. You're loving each other. And that's beautiful for us to see. That's what motivates us. Motivates us.
Likewise. Thank you
Yep.
guys.
Oh,
If I
thank you
see
for
Welcome,
coming
Chelsea.
on. Thank
yeah,
you.
if I see another cart, I'll try to be brave again.
Good for you.
Good.
Bring a friend. Bring a friend with you.
All right, bye guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, Chelsea.
So we see Gary's still there, Chelsea. Tom, is that Tom that we spoke with? If I can do a shout out for Dinah Lost. I don't know if you can come on, Dinah. All you have to do is go in the where it's the HTTPS StreamYard and click on that. Dinah Lost just came out recently, and she contacted us last week. She's got a couple of videos on, and we're trying to promote her channel.
Yeah, that's the
She's
channel, Dinah Lost.
Dinah Lost. We see her comments right here, and she has gone through a horrific story. I can't believe it, what she went through growing up. But she is healing. She's got two beautiful little girls. We adopted them as our granddaughters. And she's got a nice husband. He was never a JW. I wish you could come on, Dinah, and say hi.
And if not now,
If not,
whenever you're
it's
ready.
okay. But
Just to add to that, the outside story is not always, excuse me, it's not always a pleasant story, but they'll help us heal. They'll help you heal. They'll help the other person heal. It's the only way. To harbor it and to hold it inside is so painful. But to share it, it helps. It really does help each other. It helps to sort out things in your mind, to know that there's other people that are going through the same thing, and that's support. It won't change things, but it helps each other to have more strength to go forward and to make more of the outside story. The society has taken so much away from us. This is interesting. This is really interesting. One of the friends contacted us and said that the elders wanted to meet with them. And she said, well, I'll meet with you, but I want to meet with you at the police station. And we'll go over all the things that you stole from me.
She hasn't heard from them yet.
No.
I thought that was a perfect
Yeah.
reply.
Because they did. They've stolen things. And at some point, we have to be the ones to say, that's it. You're not stealing from me anymore. As painful as it's been for the things that they have stolen, we have to be the ones that say, that's it. You're done. The only authority they have is the authority that we would give them, the elders. And they're finding out that friends don't want to give them authority anymore. In fact, a lot of elders don't even want to be in that position anymore. And we're very thankful that they're coming out as well. They're doing the right thing. And I appreciate that.
Just a shout out to, we had some birthdays in December.
Oh, yes.
And that's one of the things that we're trying to, if we don't have your birthday, please send it in to us rather. MJ's birthday was on December 9th, and MJ's been on Burns' program a couple times. We got to meet MJ in person when we were at Washington, D.C. MJ just had a baby, a lot of new things happening in his life. So if you see MJ or see his channel, wish him a belated birthday. That was December 9th. And also December 1st was Angela Clark. If you see any of her videos, wish Angela a happy belated birthday. See, when we were in the organization, we couldn't even wish
Couldn't do
someone a
that.
happy birthday. That was like you were sinning against, the Holy Spirit.
And in fact, if you thought about your birthday, it was probably bad.
Yeah. And Chelsea was just on. Chelsea's birthday was December 10th. And we kind of had a little celebration with her. That was nice. And December 14th was Donna Lamson. Donna is in New Jersey. So if anyone has, ICU has a birthday December 17th. Well, we got to get that down.
Everybody has a birthday.
ICU. Okay. ICU. If we don't have your information, please contact us. Where's that little paper, honey? Or oh, it's fell on the floor. I think, well, maybe not. Yeah.
Technical
Oh, yeah, here it is.
difficulties. Yeah.
I see you. If you haven't given your information, here's our number. You can text it, call it, excuse me, our email. And hey, Yvette, I see Yvette. Yvette comes to some of our meetups. How about April 31st, Trisha Otto, April 31st. Okay, we'll put that down. So on our
Here's
website, oh, good. Oh, okay, Furman. Okay, we got to get that one. On our website, if you go to our website that Shauna helped us with, the website is jwfriends.com. If you go there under announcements, you can put in your birthday, you can put in an engagement if you're getting married, and also we like to know any anniversaries. So we got some anniversaries coming up next week. We'll announce those next week, Wednesday. We will be on our own channel. Our channel is Joe and with the ampersand, Fran Garino, our last name. That's the YouTube channel we have. And some people were wondering if they were on the right channel because they saw some videos that we did a while ago.
Yeah, they're
One
all
of them was
videos.
our clock shop. One of them was the Adirondacks. One of them was our daughter's
Yeah.
reception
Just go back a few
rehearsal.
years.
So I said, we are not videographers, so don't pay attention to the the videos that are up there.
Look,
But that's the no,
the camping ones were nice.
Oh, the camping ones were nice.
Nice area.
Yeah, camping in the Adirondacks. Okay, we got some birthdays coming in here. I'm going to look at them. Nadine, your birthday's November 14th, and Dinah Lost said congrats on baby MJ. He's so cute. Can't wait to see him. I see you again is December 17th. And John Marciano is November 9th. Isn't this fun? Trisha Otto, April 31st. Who else has a birthday? Oh, Trisha says the 21st.
Just for a picture.
April
this-
21st.
There was a the protest in Washington. And it's just one of the pictures from the protest. And that was us there. We're holding a banner up, and there must have been how many people? You
Well,
figure?
Rick said about 200.
About 200.
Wait a minute, you can't.
Oops.
Wait, what
Oops.
happened? I'm forgetting the
Don't know.
reflection of our cupboard.
Okay.
I think
Well,
it went off.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was a
and
very good time.
yes, it was.
Because it showed that it was friends getting together and showing that they were caring for each other, not just angry. It wasn't just an angry
No,
group
it
of
wasn't
people. It was
angry
not
at all. Not at all. It was
a very
very
caring
peaceful.
and loving, peaceful group of people. And I expect next year it might be much nicer, much bigger. It was a very nice time.
Tall, cool woman is April 21st. Tall, cool woman. Yep, I got you down. And Donna Zuck Adley, 50 years a JW this month. Faded. Wow. Wow. Yep, Jay and us, we had a meetup with Jay. We went out to breakfast. It was very helpful. We enjoyed meeting Jay, and we're not too far, so maybe we can meet up again soon. So Trisha is April 21st. Wait a minute, that's when Debbie's is. We got two birthdays on the same day. And by the way, Vern's wife, Shauna, and my birthday is March 2nd, 1952. And Joe's birthday is March 1st, 1952. We're one day apart. We were born in different hospitals and we had different
They were
mothers.
mothers.
I always like to say that. When we first met each other, we met each other after a wedding at another wedding, and we got talking, and somehow our birthdays came up. So I don't know if I said mine first or Joe said his first, but anyway, he said, "Well, I'm going to call you on your birthday," and he did. He called me, and now he can always remember my birthday because it's one day after
She
his.
made it very easy. I figured I'd have to be foolish not to marry her.
Yeah, and I did marry an older man by one
Okay.
day.
Enough about us. Is there anyone else who'd like to, anybody else who'd like to call in?
Yeah, this has been really good. We really appreciate everyone coming in. It looks like Gary's still around and Tom is still on.
Wave your hands or something if you want to say hello.
Gary, was there anything else you wanted to say? Yeah, you're back on stage, Gary, if there's anything else you wanted to say. Whoops. There you are. You're muted still.
We're here, Gary.
Just unmute
Okay,
yourself.
I'm unmuted now. Okay, cool.
There you
Okay,
go. Yep,
great.
you're
Cool.
good.
Well, I didn't realize the format of this. I think it's really cool meeting all these different people, and
Well,
you know,
we're just kind of figuring it out too, Gary, to be honest with you.
yeah, yeah,
We didn't know how it
yeah.
was going to turn out, but we're so glad so many people
Yeah.
came on to say hello.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. The last thought I had, I don't know what made me think of it, but for me, getting in was very difficult because I was 15 years old and I was opposed by my parents and everybody. So it was really, really hard. I was forbidden to go to the meetings for a period of time.
Wow.
I think because of that, because I so loved the meetings and
Yeah.
everything I thought I was learning and the friends in the congregation,
Yeah.
that I just never missed meetings for 40 freaking years. I never missed a meeting
Wow.
unless I was so sick that I just couldn't even get out of bed.
Wow.
And so in the end, to get to the point where I couldn't stand being at those meetings anymore.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand it. It's just I'm hearing just such garbage, you know. I just yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, well, I mean, and us too. And when we came in '85, the meetings and the organization bears no resemblance to what it is
No.
now. Nothing.
No.
And so what
Yeah.
I'm wondering too is what about the older ones that are still in and young ones? What do they share in common if you think about it?
Yeah.
There's no way that the young ones are going to understand really what the older ones even felt, valuable and saw valuable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was just talking about that with someone, I can't remember who, but because I don't pay attention to what's going on in the organization, I don't really care, and I don't, even though my kids are still in, but
Yeah.
I don't know, but it just seems to me, and I don't try to predict the future about it. Like whatever happens, happens. I don't really care.
Right.
But at the same time, because of the generation, the change in the definition of generation that they came out
Yeah.
with, like, I don't know, 10 or so years ago, that's not going to fly,
No.
50 years from now. There's going to be some point where they're going to have to reinvent it. And
Yeah.
I don't know. There are people that have been saying that. I just don't know because I don't pay attention. But there are people that are saying that they're really de-emphasizing 1914. Like, they're just trying to get away from that. Not that they're changing it, but like nobody knows even what it is. What does that mean? 1914? Is that pre-Model T Ford? Like, when is that?
I know.
And
I know.
at some point, it seems like they're just going to reinvent themselves as something else.
They're doing it as hard as they can.
Yeah.
As hard as they can. Yeah.
Because because you wonder because of the internet and how obvious it is to so many people, not to the faithful adherents, but it's so obvious to so many people that, like I said before, the pedophilia situation and the fact that your donations are going mainly to pay off lawsuits, settlements,
Yeah.
and just these different things that if there is a mass exodus, even more than there is now, like where you see millions of people are fed up
Yeah.
and just leave.
Yeah.
Does that mean that they're going to cease to exist as an organization? Well, maybe, but maybe not. Maybe they'll just kind of, kind of retool themselves into something else. And
Yeah.
so I don't worry. I don't worry about it too much. But
Right.
it's interesting because like you said, there's almost like no resemblance to. I came in like 50 years ago now, because I've been out for like 8 years or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, back in '74, and yeah, it was a different organization in good ways and bad. It
Yeah,
wasn't never
yeah.
really
No.
the paradise
Well,
that they say
well,
it is.
I tell people, I I have commendation for the organization and condemnation, both. Both.
Mhm.
I commend them for think about it. They pulled together people of the earth who would be of like mind, who basically, were could be friends and love each other,
Mhm.
based on a mutual understanding. They pulled together people like no other organization did, as far as I'm concerned.
Mhm.
And frankly, we have that body of people now to call and to be friends, to have as friends. So, so long as they divide themselves out, and if they leave the 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 all the crimes of that organization, if they and
Mhm.
so that's what we're finding, and we're very thankful that we're finding those people, because
Mhm.
we spent 36 years, and I would hate to think it was an absolute waste
Mm-hmm.
to have all those people around us and really not even have true friends.
Right.
True friends. But we're
Yeah.
finding true friends are coming out. They truly are.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and that's an interesting point, because there's sometimes we hear people say things about how, for as many years as you were in X years, that's
Yeah.
X years of my life that were a complete waste.
Oh yeah.
Well, but really, was it a waste? I mean, so I mean, I met you and Fran.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have met you otherwise. Like, what does
That's
that
right.
mean? You're garbage?
Exactly.
Like that.
No. No.
So there's a lot of
Exactly.
things to be grateful for.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's what we
Yeah,
say all the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
And
I mean, I could. I was
you
gonna say, my heart goes out to people whose experience was really like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, the
And,
people that were like pedophilia victims at a
and
very young
there
age,
are
things like that.
and,
That's
man,
beyond difficult to me. But
man,
still,
there
I
are.
think there's ways of. I have a really good friend that is an ex-JW who was in an extremely abusive marriage, not with a JW. I mean, after she left, extremely abusive. I mean, just crazy stuff. And I met her in London when she was visiting, in my area of the world at that time, about 3, 4, 5 months ago. And we were in a pub, and she's telling me this story about one thing that her ex-husband used to say to her about how, I would never hurt you, honey. So don't you remember the times when I would pull over in the car to save a turtle that was in the middle of the road, or I'd help an animal that was wounded in the woods? And she laughed. She actually laughed as she said, yeah, but you don't. It's okay for you to hit me. So in other words, the animals are important, but I'm not. That's really what he's saying. But my point in telling that story is that she was actually laughing as she told it, because it's so in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sort of uncomfortable at first. I was like, am I supposed to laugh? Because this isn't really funny.
I know.
But I realized that no, it is. I mean, if she can laugh, I can laugh, and we laugh together about it. Now, I'm not trying
Yeah.
to say that we can laugh at kids that were abused or something like that. But if
Yeah.
we find, if we've been through that experience, and we could find there's something in life somewhere that we can
We
find
have
humor and find joy,
Yeah.
hang on to those things.
We
Don't
have to.
try not to dwell too much on the negative stuff.
Well, we have absolutely, absolutely. And this is where again, why the stress on the outside story, because there's so many that literally, maybe they're out for 20, 30 years, but their view is still back to the watchtower. It's back.
Mm.
They really never left it. And
Yeah.
the goal is to, keep develop that outside. And that's where they need to associate more with friends and to hear more
Mhm.
of other friends. It's just some really great stuff that we were being exposed to in any of the research. It's through inspiration, inspiration from each other is where we really learn things. And we
Yes.
really get the signal to be different. It
Mhm.
it literally breathes energy into us. And that's where we need each other. And
Right, right.
there are some great people in amongst the organization. And,
Yeah.
we just have
You
to
made me
expose
think before when you were you just reminded me of another point that I was thinking of while I was listening to everybody about and I don't know what the makeup of the people that are watching this are really, but I'm assuming the way that it's going at times that there are people that are kind of not sure how to adjust to the outside world, and it's kind of a scary thing. And I get that. When you think about it, everything that that organization did to keep us in was fear based.
Oh, it's all
Fear not just of being shunned by your loved ones, but fear of the world. Because if you're
yeah,
out there in the world, you're out among vicious people. They're all immoral. They're all going to do terrible things. They're going to destroy your relationship with Jehovah. You
yeah,
know that
yeah,
and it was fear, 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 fear. And
yeah.
when you finally get out here, and I'm going to say this to everyone that's sort of like, not quite out yet, not sure what to do. When you finally
Yeah.
get out here and get to know people, you're going to find, yeah, there's some bad people, sure.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of just wonderful, and I mean moral people. I started dating like about a year after I left.
Mhm.
And I found that the women that I was meeting, usually you'd meet somebody for once or twice and you'd realize it's not going to work. So you part ways and you stay friends. So I met a lot of people. They're not interested in having sex on the third or first date or just a friend with benefits. I don't know any woman that wants that. I'm sure there are somewhere. But we were always taught that these people are all immoral. If you're worldly, if you don't have
Yeah.
Jehovah's Spirit, you're immoral. It's a
It's so
complete,
unfair.
utter lie. Complete,
It
utter
was
lie.
so
So
it was so unkind. It was so
right,
unkind to view the
right,
world. It really was.
yeah. So don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of this world. Like, oh no, what am I going to do now? I'm stuck out here. I don't have the protection of the organization and the brotherhood. You don't need
And,
it. You don't need it.
yeah,
The world is
well,
pretty good.
and in all fairness, and this is where if you say, but I feel so unprepared. Well, this is where, we'll buddy up with others, that are a little more aware. And, don't expose yourself to another individual or individuals that have some experience. They're out there, and they want to help. There are so many
Yeah,
worldly, quote unquote, worldly people that feel very compassionate toward Jehovah's Witnesses,
right,
and they've never been in. But they're concerned about their welfare, and that's beautiful.
right,
That's
right.
beautiful.
Yeah, and you can find a lot of affinity with people. You can identify with them because as XJWs, we're not the only people in the world that have experienced various traumas. It's just a bit
That's
unique
right.
the
Well,
way
that's
we experienced it. But
so
most
it's
people have something that they deal. Most people, there's a lot of people out there that are afraid to speak in front of other people or afraid to make friends, or there's all kinds of things.
Mhm.
So when you get to know people, and you really start relating and really share your experiences with them, you'll find commonality among people that have never been Jehovah's Witnesses, and you can support each other. Um, yeah, I mean, there's just no reason to be afraid of it.
that's right.
I mean, guard your steps. Obviously, it doesn't mean you're just gonna just accept a dinner invitation for just anybody. You got to use common sense because there are bad people everywhere. But
Right.
in other words, in any place, in Jehovah's Witnesses congregations and Catholic churches, but
Mhm.
there's just so many good moral people that are
Yeah.
really, really supportive and really, like you said, that really identify with us as XJWs, and they're sympathetic. So
And with that in mind too, if there are ones out there that say, well, yes, I kind of know my way around. Well, if you know of someone else who doesn't know their way around, you know, do the nice thing, buddy up with them, take
mhm,
them on as a friend. And there's people
yeah,
out there, and that's what we're all here for. That's the beauty of the people. Because you think about this. You think about this. If someone were to ask two Jehovah's Witnesses, a young one and an old one, and if someone asked them, so what's your organization all about? What's your mission? What do you do? What I don't think they'd be able to answer the question anymore.
mhm,
I really don't.
Yeah, yeah.
But yet, for the ones that are out, they know what they're out for. For example, us, we know what our mission is. You know what yours is. And there are others that know that, well, boy, but I'm scared. They're out because they're not aware. They don't know the subtle nuances of getting along with other people. Well, this is where they help each other. We're there for each other.
Gary, the first time we reconnected, well, we saw you on, you were doing an interview with JT and Lady C.
Right, right.
And Gary, I said, Joe, where do we know that name?
Yeah.
And it's like, Gary, I kept
Yeah.
saying it over and over again. And then we finally realized, you were in the same congregation as our son and son-in-law. And we got a hold of you. You were doing a radio program. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
You were doing
jazz.
a late night jazz. Where was it? In Montana or somewhere?
Oh, it was. I was thinking about my show in New Jersey, but yeah, I had moved to Montana. Yeah,
Yes,
that was
you
like
were in Montana.
Tuesday nights, I think. Yeah.
And we purposely stayed up late because I don't know, it's a couple hours just to call in to say hi to you. We didn't know how to get in touch with you.
That's right.
And and you were also a life coach. Are you still doing any life coaching?
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I started out with life coaching. Just there were almost no XJWs in my client list, but little by little, it's become more like that. And of recently, it's been a while since I coached somebody that wasn't an XJW, because there's a lot, there's a lot of people that really are benefiting from the program. So that's mainly what I do. And I tell you honestly, what I do is I don't always follow the format that a life coach usually follows, because it's just different. People need to vent first, And what happens is like just one fellow that I was talking to the other night, he presents me with some pretty thorny stuff, and I'm just like, wow, where am I going to go with this? As a life coach, is this even something I'm supposed to touch? And we talk and talk and talk, and we go for 2 or 3 hours. I don't. The clock's not ticking. It's just so as long as you want to talk, it's fine.
That's nice.
I'm not. I don't have a meter running. And I start thinking, I'm at a loss as to what to say. I don't know, but I keep thinking and thinking and thinking, and all of a sudden I realize that the reason, like I start asking, so why does this bother you? What is it about this? What's the biggest thing that bothers you about what you're telling me? And other questions along the way. And it always ends up being because this is the way JWs are taught to think.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, so why are we still thinking that way? And it had to do with basically, how like elders, like if I'm an elder and my 14-year-old kid gets this fellowship, I'm probably going to lose my position because it's my fault. I'm not the head of my household. I'm not a good spiritual father. That's just the way they always think. So they basically condemn me for my son's behavior.
Yeah.
And even if my son's 20 years old, if he's under my roof, I'm sunk.
Yeah.
If he happens to be living on his own, I'm okay, but he's under my roof, so I'm sunk, So that's the way the JWs think. So I said, his situation was kind of similar in a way. And I said, that's not, does that make any sense? Is it your fault? Are you really a bad parent? Really? The fact that you're worried about this tells me you're a good parent because you're worried about your kid,
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, wow, what a powerful point. So this is what happens as I coach XJWs. It's like an adventure for me because I'm learning all the time. I'm like, I don't know what to do here, but then it's not, conversation keeps going. We keep it open. Just talk. Let's talk. It's you talking, not me. And before you know it, every time this particular guy, every time he says that is such a powerful point, that's when I know it's sunk in.
Yeah.
He's got it. And the next time I talk, he's done with that. And it's like maybe he's got another question, So I love it. I love it when the light. It's kind of like when we used to conduct Bible studies. And the moment that it seemed like they're thinking that it's the truth, it'd be like this light bulb went off and we could see it. And we'd be like, oh, this is so exciting. Well, obviously we're not there anymore. But it's kind of that same thing where it's like a light bulb went off. And I'm like, yeah, he gets it. He gets it. It's so gratifying to see somebody starting to make progress and getting beyond all those brick walls,
Amen.
Yeah.
So Gary, how can people get in touch with you if they want to do some life coaching?
Well, my website is probably the best way. I mean, because my phone number and email address and everything is on there. It's called Open Path Life Coaching or Open Path Life Coach. I think ING is on the end.
Open Path Life Coach. I'll
Yeah,
put it
you know, I have
in
to think about it now. It's not doesn't have the ing at the end. No, it's Open Path Life Coach. Yeah, .com. And my email and my phone number is all on there. So it's a U.S. phone number, you know. So
Okay, we'll put it in
Good.
the
Good.
put it in
Yeah.
the comments here. All right.
Yeah.
So it's Open Path Life Coach.
right. Yeah, and I just find that when I started getting into it, when I got certified, because I actually had been a life coach for most of my life, I just didn't know it. When I got certified for it, I started thinking that I can easily see, not trying to predict the future and think I'm right, but I can easily see a mass exodus at some point because of the internet and the pedophilia and the things that are being settled out of court and all these lies that are so obvious nowadays. And it's like we're gonna have like people walking around like zombies. They're not gonna know what to do with
I know.
themselves. You know, they're gonna be.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, that's our biggest concern. It really
Yeah.
is. Then, unless they're preparing to exit, they're not preparing.
Right.
Uh,
And
I
how do you
think
do that?
there are a lot that are. I mean, because I
Yeah.
happen to think that there are a lot on the X sites.
Mhm.
But they need to be well. You know, one of the friends that we have that's in, but you know, not stepping out. He's not. He's totally awake, but he's not up. He says the people that are still in. He says they've got to wake up and smell the coffee,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought is so interesting because again, if you're laying in bed, let's say you're wide awake, but you're still laying down. Well, maybe when you start to smell the coffee, that's going to get you up. In other words,
Right.
it has to be something attractive. There
Right.
has to be
Right.
something attractive that they would want to take that step because there are going to be losses. There are
Mhm.
absolutely going to be losses
Mhm.
from getting out. And it's going to have to be where they do some serious cost benefit analysis
Mhm.
of,
Mhm.
of the losses versus the gains. And I think a lot of people are going through that right now. I really do.
Yes. Yes.
And we just
But
basically
you
want
know,
to show them. We want to show them
but
that there's people, there's friends out there. There's friends.
right. Right. But here's another thought I just was coming up with just the other day, is that if things go that way, that there's like huge numbers that leave, you know, that means there are going to be less and less people that this whole disfellowshipping, shunning things. What does it mean to you if you're not in the organization more anymore? You don't who are you obeying to? So the more people leave, the less people that are going to be that are shunning you
Yeah,
until
yeah.
hopefully one day there'll be nobody.
I
So
know.
we can set the example. It's really important that for us to learn how to be attractive, to be that attraction, like not that negative person that just says, "Well, are you kidding me? You believe what the governing body says?" Yeah, we can be very negative and scare people, or we can be very attractive
That's right.
and
And that
and
and that's
make them want to come out. You know?
and that's it. That's it. You know, you just remind me of a lyric of Harry Chapin. You remember Harry Chapin?
Yeah, yeah.
Some men see the changes, so few see the end. You know,
Okay.
there's so many changes coming about, but you ask yourself, what's it going to amount to? What's very interesting. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
We're watching something so dynamic happening right now,
Hmm.
and it's interesting. You know, I don't mind the house burning down, but I sure do want to see everybody out. You
Oh
know?
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and
we
that's the
can-
thing about wishing for the demise of the organization. I mean, if the organization went completely under tomorrow, oh my God, what will we even do?
Oh, there's
I
a
mean, with me, it was it was a sort of a quick knock in the head kind of wake up,
right,
but at the same
right.
time, it happened over time that I
Yeah.
started realizing the Brotherhood's a sham. A couple of
Yeah.
years of that, and then I was trying to justify myself and try to get people to believe my story. Nobody cared. And then, a little bit at a time, really. It was sudden shocks, but actual gradual
I
over time
happen
because it's too much, you know. So
I happen to think that there are a lot of people in there that are ready. They're just
Mhm.
waiting for their cue. You know, whatever it is, their
Mhm.
cue. They're waiting for their cue.
Right.
That's what I think. I truly do. I truly do.
Yeah, and you know that it you know kind of you know it makes the question of like why are they still in, you know, and well, okay,
Habit.
that's a good question. Everybody's
Habit. Habit.
well, habit's probably a big thing. Yeah, yeah. I know this came up earlier in the broadcast, but also the shunning. You know, I mean, like I
Yeah.
think
Oh,
of my
yeah.
son, for example. If my son were to leave, he has a wife, he has his in-laws, he has his own
I
mother.
know.
You
I
know, what
know.
would like he, all right, so I'm there waiting for him to come out, but that's
I
one
know.
guy that, you know,
I know.
so that you know, there are things that make it difficult,
Oh, yeah.
but
Oh,
it's like peeling off the Band-Aid.
yeah.
It always hurts, but when you're
Yeah.
done, it's like you realize like, oh, I'm glad I finally did that.
I know.
So,
I know.
like
I
I said, the
know.
day I was disfellowship was like the best day of my life in a way because I never would have done it myself. I probably would
Understand.
still be there,
Yeah.
but they did it, and I was glad that they did. You know, even though it hurt at the time,
Yeah.
I knew it was wrong, but
Yeah. Well,
so
appreciate your input.
We've
Yeah.
been on
Yeah.
2 hours.
I think maybe we're burning up the internet or something. I'm not sure.
Well, this
Oh,
has
really?
been
Okay.
great. This has been
Well, I'm not
great.
sure. I'm not
Well,
sure.
we've been on 2 hours. I don't know how much.
Oh, really? Wow.
Because Vern and Sean are nice enough to be kind of
They're
commandeering.
Oh, you're
hosting
right.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you're right.
we had over 100. I think it was 103. I don't know what the most was in the chat.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you coming on,
Oh,
Gary,
yeah.
and
Gary.
Yeah.
Tom,
And
and all the
everyone.
ones that came on.
That's
We
right.
appreciate it because
Steph,
Yeah,
this
thank
was
you.
impromptu. It really was. So
And again, we'll be on
So-
every.
so next week we'll be on our own channel.
Yeah.
This time it was Vern's channel, but we're going to be on. It's called Joe
Joe.
and Fran Garino. So if you can subscribe if
Okay.
you haven't, it'll be the same time Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yep.
What were you going to say?
That's it.
Yep.
Okay.
She says it well.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Vern says we have unlimited internet. I just don't know anyone else. Any other comments?
Yeah. Is anyone else out there?
Hey, Gary, if you don't mind me asking, when's your birthday?
Oh, 12/31.
Oh,
It's in a
wow, we
couple
got
of
one
days.
coming up.
Holy
Oh,
smokes.
man. Well,
Catching.
happy birthday.
Yes.
12/31.
I thought you forgot about me.
No, I didn't
Oh,
forget.
And if anyone else knows their birthday, tell us. You all know your birthday, so
Yes.
let us know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't hesitate, whoever.
So the last, let me see. if
Well, I
got-
was born on the 31st, but I identify as June 5th. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm being a wise guy. I was talking to a customer the other day. I was saying, yeah, I identify as a 28-year-old, so I'm 28. That's what I can say on
That's
applications now.
funny.
Well, that's
Anyway.
the day of identification.
Yeah. Are you still in North Carolina?
Yeah, that's where I've been for the last half year. Yep.
Half a year. Okay,
Yep.
we don't have your address. Do you mind sending it to us? You've got
Yeah, I'll
our
do that.
email?
I'll do
Okay,
it.
thank you.
I'll do it as soon as we get off.
All right, thank you. Because at some point we're planning a trip down the East Coast.
Yeah,
Down.
Oh, okay.
We did the West Coast.
Yeah.
So we'll be sure and look you up and give you
Yeah.
plenty of time. Heads up.
And anybody on the call, anybody that's watching this video, you know, you have my email on my website.
Nice.
You know, if you want to send me an email and say, hey, I'm heading down Route 95 to on the way to Florida or something like that, you know, we could hook up. I'd love it.
Perfect.
You know, that'd be
Yeah,
fantastic.
We've got other people in North Carolina, so yeah, that would
Yeah.
be a nice meetup.
Yeah, great.
I'm in Wilmington, which is like the bottom.
Wilmington.
It's
Wilmington.
the east, the southeastmost part. It's right before South Carolina, right on the ocean.
Wilmington.
Wilmington, North Carolina. It's a beautiful, beautiful spot. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, Gary, it's been great talking.
Yeah, good catching up with you, and
with
thank you for
everyone else,
coming
too.
on. We hope this helps everyone. We've got a life coach here. We've got so many people that came on and wanted to say hi and that want to meet up. So Jay says good night. Good night, Jay.
Good night.
And
Yeah, and don't forget, you're all friends.
Yes.
You just haven't met each other yet,
that's
but you're all
right.
friends.
Right.
That's right.
I can't wait to see you guys again. The last time
Oh,
I actually
thank-
saw you must have been like way before 2000,
Well, did you?
right? I mean,
we had this. Well,
Wow.
wait a minute. Did you go to Mark's wedding in Connecticut?
you know, I don't remember. I'm sure I was at Hattie and
Jeremy.
Jeremy's.
Jeremy's wedding. Um,
Well, they had
but
two weddings.
I don't. I just don't remember. What's his wife's name again? Oh,
Mark?
you don't want to say it. Well, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that's all right.
Better
Never
than
mind.
that.
better
Better
not.
not.
Yeah.
You could-
Yeah, that's okay. But no, I just
Yeah.
don't remember. There's a lot of things that I get. Like when you just reminded me that you called me during my radio show, and I was
Yeah,
in
we were
Montana.
on
You know, wow, that was just a long time ago. I was in New Jersey then. That's like 5, 8 years ago. Like, oh, Montana.
Yeah.
That's right. I remember now because it's a 3-hour
Yes.
difference or a
Yes.
2-hour difference.
Two
So it was
hours,
like
not
it was
two
like
days.
10, 11 o'clock at night for you guys calling me. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but see, I
Yeah.
forget so much stuff. And I actually tried to forget at a certain point in time. And we don't have a delete button that says, well, I want to take this memory out of our mind. But I actually what I used to do is if I started getting the memory of like somebody in the congregation and I decided I didn't really want to remember them, I just stopped thinking about them immediately.
Yeah,
I deliberately
yeah,
stopped
yeah.
thinking about them.
Yeah.
And it would tend to
Yeah.
fade and I couldn't remember their name anymore.
It's true.
But now I'm at the point where I'd rather not lose memories, you know.
I know.
So
we need all the memory we can
Well,
get.
again, and
yeah.
friends, that's what people remind each other of.
Beverly
Yeah.
Howard.
And like
Beverly
you know,
Howard.
Jeremy and the kids you're talking about, they're really wonderful people.
They're good
Hattie
people.
and Jeremy.
They're good people.
I mean, yeah,
You know,
they're just really
you know, Jeremy was trying so hard, Gary. Had more he had more contact with us than our own sons.
Yeah.
And when we sent in our disassociation, he came that day and he said, I want to hear it from both of you.
Yeah,
I want
he
to
was-
hear it from each of
He
you.
was hurt.
He was hurt. You could see tears
Yeah,
were welling
yeah.
up in his eyes. And I said, Jeremy, I said the same thing you said, Gary. I said, Jeremy, I cannot support an organization that is hiding child sexual abuse. And what he said to me is, I've never done that. I said, Jeremy, I believe
big
you haven't,
organization.
but this is worldwide.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't comprehend that.
No.
And then Joe, he approached Joe, and Joe said the same thing. But and they're only 6 miles from us, and we have not seen them. And
Yeah.
they moved congregations. They were in the congregation we left, and they were kind of in between congregations where they lived. They could go one way or the other. So whether they were asked to go or they wanted to go, I don't know.
Put some distance.
It was
between us, yeah.
probably a lot because, we
The
were
most-
so
Yeah, yeah.
close. And the congregation, we were like pillars in the congregation. And it's like Joe and Fran Garino, holy smokes.
Yeah.
You know, I can only imagine what the gossip was like.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
hopefully we still have hope for them. And he,
Yeah.
Jeremy thought very highly of you. He always liked
Yeah.
you. I know he
Yeah, he was a
mentioned
good
you
he was a
several
good guy, and I
times.
loved Mark. Well, Jeremy came before Mark did, I think, but I loved
Yeah.
Mark.
Jeremy was
Most
there
most of
for-
those guys were really good. Not all of them were the same quality, but those guys were just But you know what happens though? I mean, you're as well aware of this as I am, but is how people are in such denial. I think back to when I was in. I honestly thought every once in a while somebody would say, "Yeah, I heard of a case of a brother, having sex with a 5-year-old kid or something like that," and I would just take that isolated one case and bury it in my mind, like, "Oh, gee, that's a shame," but well, at least it was taken care of. What are you going to do? It's going to happen every once in a while. And when you added it all up, if 2 months after that you told me that there's a whole lot of pedophilia, I'd say, really, I've never heard of one case of pedophilia in the organization.
Right.
And that, or I'd say that there are so few and far between
I know.
that there might as well be none, because statistically it's almost nothing.
right.
And then after I left, I started thinking, oh yeah, I remember a case in Virginia,
Yeah.
and I remember a couple of cases in New York. In fact, the kid that was on the cover of the Awake about protection of your kid from like an Awake from 1990 something. That kid was a friend of ours, the daughter of a friend of ours, and she was being abused by a ministerial servant during that time period.
Oh,
They only
my
found it out
goodness.
afterwards. So I knew about that one. I knew about this one in New York. I knew about that. And all of a sudden, I'm like, yeah, actually, there's pedophilia all over the place. I never really added it up. I denied the whole thing,
no.
and I just
Yeah,
just said statistically, it might as well say it doesn't exist. You know, sorry about the kids that have been affected, but they're not significant. You know,
I know.
it's unbelievable. So like guys like Jeremy, that hopefully one day he'll wake up and say,
Yeah.
oh yeah, actually, there's quite a bit of that nonsense.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
make we would make any excuse we could for the organization, because that was the main thing. It wasn't even about Jehovah. It was about the organization, really,
That's it.
and the elder
That's it.
body.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Well,
So we were really
everybody,
good at
they say difficult times, they don't define a person's character. They say it reveals a person's character. And in other words, everybody gets the chance to find out who they are and how it lines up with what's going on. And I can't help but feel that my family members, your family, whoever, they're having the opportunity to analyze themselves throughout this whole situation.
Mhm.
And everybody's going to be, they're going to be not only responsible, but yeah, they're going to be responsible for their decisions on it. And that's the thing that we have to accept. We really do. I mean, my children are their own self. I mean, we bore them, but they're their own persons. And
Yeah.
we have to accept that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just sending you my address right now.
Oh,
So you
thank
got it
you.
now. Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah. Well, that's the thing, is this is the concept of a community responsibility,
Yeah.
which the JWs will be fine about applying that to people that support the politician that was just elected or whatever. But it never occurs to them that it applies to you too, because
No, they didn't
anything
figure
that's, I mean, things that are isolated, you know, this weird guy did this strange thing, that's okay, whatever. But like the child abuse, it's systemic. I mean, they created it with this sandbox they
deep.
created with the
It's
two witness rule and the confidentiality nonsense.
Man.
So there's community guilt. And it's not just the community of kids within the organization, because they're letting pedophiles go
No.
that could be abusing anybody's kids.
And then from what I understand too, from deeper inside sources, they're actually even moving them around to get them away from one area to another. So that's getting deeper and deeper into the culpability. It really is.
Yep.
They'll work it out. They're going to work it out in the courts.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, there's another one. So you know, I talked about, you know, how all these cases that I kind of put out of my mind until I realized in my book that you were showing them before, there was the case that went back to, must have been the 50s, had to be the 50s. It was a case up in upstate New York, town called Norwich, of a well, they didn't call him presiding overseers. He was the congregation servant that was abusing young boys. And they sent the guy up from Bethel. His name was Arthur Worsley. They sent him up from Bethel to be the circuit overseer to clean this guy out. And he never told me what happened to him, but I found out that he just moved somewhere else. They never actually disciplined him. They just moved him somewhere else. Exactly what they always accused the Catholic Church of doing. But this is back in the 50s. In the 50s that they were doing. Yes, I wrote about it in the book because I knew the guy, Arthur Worsley, the guy that dealt with the whole thing. But because it was where my mother-in-law had grown up, and she knew this Arthur Worsley. She said, "You got to look him up."
Not too far from us.
Yeah, Norwich, New York. Yeah, amazing, just amazing. I mean, and that was like, I forgot about that. I completely forgot about that until I was writing the book, actually, which is years after I've left. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh yeah, there's another one. There's another one, and that's just another case of a pedophile. That doesn't say how many cases of pedophilia, how many children you abuse.
I know.
There could be 5, because they don't abuse the same kid for 10, 20 years. They go on to somebody else, you know, or they might be doing a couple of kids at the same time. So one pedophile equals a lot of misery, a lot of misery.
You know, Gary, the 36 years that we were in, we never heard anything, nothing. And they would make an announcement and they would say, parents, please don't let your children go to the bathroom alone. And we were so ignorant. We thought, well, what are they afraid of? They're going to tear the place apart. No, it's because there was a pedophile there in the audience.
But wow, really?
But they didn't acknowledge that.
They may have told the parents, we don't know because our children were all older then.
Yeah.
But when our children were small, I mean, I was pregnant for our youngest one, and Mark was not even 5 when we started going. I mean, who knows if they, you know, there's repressed memory.
Yeah. I know.
I
You
often
never know.
Yeah,
wonder
yeah.
because, you know, Mark went out in service with this one brother, and anyway, we got some more people that want to come in.
Gary, we can go for
Okay, yeah, sure.
Thank
Yeah,
you
yeah,
so
no,
much.
Thank you, Gary.
no
We'll get
problem.
together. Call when you can or whatever.
Yes, and thank you for
Yeah,
your
yeah,
interest.
okay.
All right,
And I hope you come down here soon.
We will, and happy birthday.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you.
All right,
Love you.
Okay,
Gary.
Love you.
bye-bye.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Russell's been waiting.
Russell, you still there?
Yeah, I told him to come on in.
Hello. How's everyone doing?
Hello,
Hello, Russell.
Russell. Yep,
Hey.
we can hear you.
Great, great. Oh
How
man,
are you doing?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm doing well. What's it? I guess I should open up about my mental health. I might as well. So I was diagnosed bipolar. I'm a part of an outpatient program now, so I'm trying to tackle it.
Good.
So that's what
Good.
I've been doing. Yeah, that's how I spent my day, and I will be graduating next Tuesday. Thank God. So that'll be 8 weeks that I've been in the program.
Wow. Oh, congratulations.
Thank
Well,
you.
no doubt you gain some insights into things, or does it help?
Sure, definitely. Yeah. What's it?
Good.
What I've learned is, and this is why I think many people, what's the word? This is why I think many PMOs will never leave, because I really do think that once you leave the organization, you're going to realize how much mental damage has been done to you, and you're going to need to seek professional help. I mean, whether you have, depression, bipolar, a combination thereof, I don't know how else to say this, but get professional help right away.
And so maybe you feel that maybe many wouldn't be so inclined.
No, and what I find so, I mean, this almost sounds like admiration, but it's more of like how evil, how much of an evil genius the organization is. I think that's why they have been frowning upon psychological help for the longest time.
No, I'm sure that. I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, though, I mean, they don't want us to know ourselves. They don't want that
No.
at all. They want us to be who they want us to be.
Yeah.
And it's such a, well, look, there was a woman that the elders wanted to see her, wanted to meet with her. And she told them, well, I'll meet with you, but I'll meet with you at the police station. And we'll review all the things you've stolen from me.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then,
How did the elders respond to that?
I don't think they did.
Not much of a
She
response.
said she didn't hear from them.
Got it.
Yeah. Well, good for you, though. Good for you.
Do you want to promote your YouTube channel, Russell?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Well, everyone in the channel, I want to thank you all for showing up. I want to, thank Fixing My Faith. I've been following his channel for a while. I want to thank him. I want to, thank him for hosting Fran and Joe Garino. And I also had the pleasure of interviewing them on my channel. And my channel just goes by Russell C, RUSSELL, and a capital C. And I had the pleasure of interviewing them on my channel. I hope that you guys please check out that interview.
Oh, thanks. That was
Thank
nice
you.
too, Russell.
Thank you, Russell.
Yeah. I mean, we had a fantastic conversation. We covered so many different things, and it's just there's just so much to talk about. And I'm just thankful that we finally are able just to talk about these things.
It's everything that we're finding with the people that getting connected. They've got so much to deal with, to connect with. It's beautiful. It's literally is discovery. It's discovering beautiful things, and it's just it's a privilege for us to be a part of it. as bad as the organization was, it's a privilege to be involved with the people who are coming
Yes.
out of it. It really is. No
And
matter
and
what.
Hmm?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I mean, what I was going to say is that the only experience I have with this whole child sex abuse thing and is that so I used to have a friend who was down in, I mean, I used to, right, he used to be a friend. He doesn't pick up my calls anymore for some reason, who knows. But he's an elder down in Florida, and he's actually a presiding overseer. I believe that's what the big head honcho is called. And he actually told me this, and I can't believe he told me this, but he said that there were two like pioneers, like right, one was a brother and one was a sister, and so the brother liked the sister, and so at the time she for Florida's for age of consent in Florida she was underage, but apparently they started hanging out, and he bought beers and he claims that no, so this is her side of the story. So she decided to come clean with her conscience and whatnot, and so she said that oh, we had some beers and he felt me up and nothing happened then. And so then she was a minor at the time, and so he asked her, he asked him, hey, did this happen? And he said, no, I have no idea what this is about.
Yeah.
And so then that's when he told me that instead of bringing this to the police, he brought this up to the he called was it the legal department? Yeah, and so then that's how I knew that that's how it was handled. That they, instead of going to the police, they sent it straight to the legal department up in Warwick or wherever the headquarters was at that time. And so I didn't think anything of it, but in hindsight, I'm like, wow, that's a very strange way of handling a situation like that.
It's the Watchtower way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They hide it. They hide it. No, well, that I believe that's all gonna. There's gonna come a point where that's all gonna be behind us. I truly believe that. I think they're gonna. It almost may get to the point where they may totally stop doing that, and they're gonna act like they've never done it ever.
Of course.
It's just like them to do something like that. It's just like that.
Well, sure. And this is this pales in comparison, but it's with the whole beard thing. I mean, with their whole governing body update number 8, and they I cannot believe how they made it sound like, well, we never had issues with beards in the past. I mean, it wasn't us, and it was, yeah, and what I find so hilarious is that if you go back to the website, one of the morning worships with Stephen Lett. So I only remember this because they had Stephen Lett tackle this subject 3 times. So it was all about, not exercising. First they called them, so-called rights, and then they called them scriptural rights. And what I find, right, and the video is still up on the website, so anyone can check it for a reference. But a couple of years ago, they were literally saying that that is ostensibly brothers wearing beards or exercising any sort of scriptural right to do something, that we would stumble somebody and we would stumble them and they would become a spiritual casualty, and we would bring eternal doom onto ourselves. And so it's just like, how is that not you guys having an issue with beards?
Yeah, they're strange. They have very strange ways of reasoning. Well, they're we're going to see them constantly back out of things, just like crooks try to do.
Yeah.
Dear.
Yeah.
We got someone else looking here too, Russell. If we can get someone else in too.
That's fine. That's fine.
Hang
All right.
on.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Alrighty.
thank you.
Thank you, Russ.
Alrighty.
There you go.
Add to stage. Hey, Debbie.
Hello, Debbie.
Hello. Nice to see y'all.
Hello.
You
Nice to
too.
see you too. Thank you for
Well,
coming on tonight.
I was a little bit late because one of my granddaughters dropped by to bring me a Christmas gift, and
Aw,
Nice.
that's
I gave
nice.
I gave her and her significant other their gift. Of course, I was sitting here waiting on them at 5 o'clock yesterday, where they didn't show, but that's okay. But now we've
Yes.
done it. Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to say to Russell, that's a good thing that he said about being bipolar and various other mental illnesses. And I think Gary touched on that because he's a life coach. Um, when I was a witness, I tried to commit suicide multiple times. And um, I checked myself into a mental hospital. And I hadn't even thought about what Russell just said about the Watchtower Society not, I can't hold my phone still, about the Watchtower not study, the Watchtower Society not wanting us to
Mhm.
um, go for psychological treatment and stuff,
Uh,
um, because they were afraid that we might find out that we were being tricked or fooled.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that'll
And
expose them. Absolutely expose them.
right, right,
Yeah.
and we didn't. They didn't want us to do that.
No.
But
No.
there in our congregation, there were 19 of us who wrote letters about having bipolar disorder, and I
Wow.
was in that group too. So was my dad, and he was our presiding overseer.
Wow.
And um, we wrote the Watchtower Society regarding mental illness in the organization
Yeah.
because there was so many of us that had been diagnosed with several kinds of mental
You know,
problems. And
Debbie, that's so interesting because maybe that could maybe be one of the issues that they approach now, especially if we go to them and ask them basically. So tell us, Watchtower, what exactly is your view on
Mhm.
members seeking uh, mental health intervention? And basically see if they do the same thing as they said about beards,
Mhm. Yeah.
and thereby opening it up for them to get the mental health that they need. I think
I'm
honestly, I think it's they're in a position now where they're going to give all sorts of things because they're going to want to look good. They're going to want to look good.
mhm. I always thought the beard thing was stupid to begin with.
Yeah, well, they're stupid.
And I mean, you never saw a picture with Jesus and the apostles that they didn't have a beard. They all had beards. I mean, if it was good enough for Jesus,
Yeah,
it should have been good enough for
well,
everybody who's
they
not perfect,
they had their
but
reason. Yep, yep,
I guess they think they're perfect.
yep.
No, I just wanted to tell you I really appreciate your show
No, and
and
that's a good.
everything you're doing with
I thank
everybody
you, Debbie, and that's a really good point you
because
bring up about the mental health too.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah. I'm glad you called in, and a lot of people know you, Debbie, but I don't think they've ever seen you.
Yep.
So we appreciate you
I look
showing.
terrible. I
Oh,
look
stop.
awful tonight. I haven't done anything except piddle around I do that all the time. Piddle around the house.
No,
That's okay. We love
Um,
you just the way you
you're
are.
beautiful,
Don't you
Debbie.
change a thing,
You're,
like Rick
you're
says.
beautiful.
that's what I was gonna say. Rick says that same thing.
I know,
I
that's what I
can't hold my
said.
phone still.
Don't,
I'm
don't
sorry.
you don't you ever change.
Yeah.
What is it? Hold on. Flag of victory. And the last one, leaving the watchtower. Don't forget to turn off the new
Off
light.
the new
That's
light.
right.
There you go.
Oh, dear.
We're very thankful. We're very thankful that we've been connected, stay connected. It's really You can't underestimate. We're going to look back and really, really, really appreciate it. I believe that.
We're just going to invite anyone else that wants to
Yeah.
come on. You do not have to put your face
No,
on.
right.
You can hide your camera. You can go voice only.
Yeah.
All you have to do is hit that HTTPS under fixing my faith.
Right.
And you can come on. Tom, did you want to say something again, Tom? Tom's back. Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, Tom, you've been patiently waiting.
Well, I left it on, and then I had to go in and do some stuff with my mom, and then I'm back out here now. But so I missed a lot of you guys' conversations. But
we were just talking about mental health and how there's a lot of mental health in the organization, a lot of problems.
that's what I wanted to comment on. Is I remember they used to say, if you need to see shrink,
Yeah.
you know, then your head was going to shrink or something like that. They did not. They totally were against it. I know, growing up, they were really against it. And then when they finally did agree that okay, it's acceptable. But I remember the elder that I was studying with. He tried to do some research on mental health so he could help some people, and they totally did not want him doing that. To educate them on that. And then, so when they finally did agree to have people go, they wanted them to find a JW that was a therapist and go see them. So it was like you had to almost have an approved therapist.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's still the same way, but I know that that's the way it was not too long ago. And
it's all about their image. Image.
Yeah, anyone out there that wants to go see a therapist, there's no stigma in seeing a therapist, because we go to a doctor if we break our arm. We go to the dentist if we need a filling. Well, if we need some mental health, we go either to a psychiatrist or psychologist or a therapist. You find one that you are comfortable with. And Gary, that was just on, he's a life coach. And more people that were witnesses are getting out and they're going into that field because there is a big demand for
There's a
ones
need.
that there's a need. A need for that mental health. So
it is huge. It is huge. And I appreciate everybody that recognizes that and actually does seek out that help if they are able to in any way. That is imperative, because it's like you said, as far as any medical treatment, the same type of thing, and you go see a doctor, you got screws loose because you have, as a witness, you have heard everything is conflicting to real life.
That's right.
And it's really hard to put everything together. And
unfortunately, Tom, unfortunately, there's different psychologists and people that have mentioned that the way witnesses are exposed to the teachings, it puts them in a position to basically to become schizophrenic. Because it's the type of teaching and it's the way that you present things, and there's so many things you have to compensate for and suck up, and you have to straighten it out in your mind because it's cockeyed, and it's not a healthy thing. It's as if we were to be eating food that's all tainted. We would be affected from it. Well, unfortunately, the same thing happens with the teachings. Every one of us has to acknowledge that. Every one of us.
Well, I have. All right. I remember being told, so as a young adult, when I finally left for a few years, and I would join any social event. I did not know how to act. I was like, how should I act? And people would say, just be yourself. And I did not know how to be myself because
I
I
know.
was never allowed to be
We weren't
myself.
allowed to. We weren't allowed. Right. It's so true. It's
Right.
so true.
And I think that there are millions of witnesses that do not know how to be themselves.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
try to fit in, and it goes against it. It's got to be such a conflict in their
It
minds
is.
that
It,
go,
yeah.
you know,
It,
it's gotta make some short circuits is all I'm saying. And
well,
it's awesome if they're able to talk it out and figure it out, you know,
well,
eventually.
this is where you get to know who your friends are, the ones who can accept you and who you can accept for where you're at, and that's the way you know who your friends are. Now, and the
Well,
society brought such high requirements as to being an approved associate. You gotta there's requirements for being an approved. Well, that's not a friend, is it? That's not a friend. That's an associate.
Yeah.
And now we have the opportunity to be friends, and
right.
there are friends. Now is the time we can start breathing. We can start breathing.
Yeah. And
Exactly.
enjoying life.
Yeah.
We can enjoy life.
I really, I think that that's a very important point, and that if anybody is able to take advantage of that, because I know it's not cheap, um, and state doesn't always provide all that and things like that, but it's important at least to find a friend. And that's one thing about this community. You can find a lot of help to be able to connect with other people that can possibly help you get through some of this bull crap, you know,
Good
without
friends,
actually seeing
good
somebody, you know.
good
That's
friend,
right.
good
And
friends are good.
I'm willing to be there for anybody that needs that, definitely, because
Mhm.
I know I like to talk. I'm a talker, but I like to listen too.
That's
So
important. Yes. It's so good.
And there are people that are there too for you, and
Yeah.
we'll keep that. We'll keep you in mind
Yes,
because
we
there's
will.
friends. We'll
We'll
connect.
we'll definitely
you know,
connect.
Good
if I could
friends.
go to school, I think I could actually go to school and do something like that. But I work with my hands. So,
Yeah.
and oh, and I
It's
really
important.
really enjoyed your video of your shop
Oh,
and
sure.
It
all your
was so
tools.
Oh, yeah.
That was
I
awesome. I
Yeah.
am jealous. I love it.
Yeah.
Just want to let
Uh,
you know. That's awesome. Yeah.
I
Anyway,
now
grew up.
Joe's been working with his
I grew up with
hands.
more tools and toys.
Yeah.
I know tools are awesome. And then you were saying now you had too many. Well, guess what? As a man, you can't have too many tools.
Yeah, that's what
So
I hear.
just like you can't have too many
That's what I
because one of
hear.
them might break, and then you can bring the other one back to life.
You never know.
So
You
what,
never
Tom,
know.
if I could ask you, what do you do? What do you do for work
What
or?
do I do?
Uh-huh.
I do. I'm a jack of all trades. Like,
Yep.
you know, yeah. So I'll
Good for you.
I do a lot of stuff. I've built houses. I've from
Wow.
the ground up. I mean, I've been
Wow.
involved in like basically going in and cutting all the trees, pulling all the stumps, burning all the brush, digging the hole, putting the foundation in, putting all the drainage in, building
That's
the foundation. Was somebody else actually built the foundation? I didn't. But then putting the floor, doing the whole house, and all the way to the finished cabinets and all the finished everything. So yeah,
awesome.
pretty much, you know, jack of all trades. And
Wow.
um,
That is such an
and
exciting
I just
skill.
appreciate, you know, your your shop.
Well,
It's nice.
that's what you described is so. That was a common thing, but now you're not going to find too many people like that at all. No,
Mhm.
That's true.
you're a rare breed.
Yeah.
You're a rare breed. You know.
Well, I'm fortunate. I grew
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
I have good
Yes.
blood.
beautiful.
I have
Nice.
wonderful family.
We'll do
Anyways,
tool.
yeah, I
We'll do
just wanted
tool.
to.
We'll,
What's
we'll do
that?
tool times. We'll do tool time sometime.
Compare
Sounds
tools.
great, man.
We'll do
Yeah,
it.
I got myself one of them. One of them DeWalt saws that on the rail, and it does the combination and everything, and I love that thing. I use that a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in fact, I was just going to be selling that. You're just strange that we just got that. Took some pictures of it. We're probably going to sell one. That's funny.
Oh,
Same
really?
thing, just tonight. Yeah,
I'm
yeah. I'm
kidding.
trying to. I got too many tools in one place. Something's
Yeah,
got to
well,
give.
yeah, better think twice about it. Don't let Fran have too
No,
much
I know.
No,
influence on
it wasn't my
No, it
idea.
wasn't her idea.
that.
I go
Okay,
through this all.
okay.
Hey, Tom, Nadine, Nadine says you can build her a
There
house.
you go.
She's out in
Hell
California.
yeah. I can build
Tom,
houses.
we'll catch.
That's
We'll
for
catch.
sure.
We'll catch
I
you.
can
We'll
build
catch you
roads
back.
too. I build roads. That's one of my jobs. I
Oh,
build roads. I do
wow.
drainage. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Well,
I just don't
I
run
can't
the
wait.
equipment. Just tell the guys that run the
Wow.
equipment do.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Good. Well, we look forward to seeing you in
Yeah.
New Hampshire.
Yeah.
I can't
Tom,
wait to meet
let's.
up with you guys. I
We're gonna
definitely
do it.
can't.
We're gonna
I
do
will
it.
definitely be there in still alive in 2025. I will definitely be there.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
gonna make it a priority.
hopefully we'll see you
No,
before
before
then.
let's work. Let's work it out before
Hopefully,
then.
yes.
We
Yes.
will. No, we
Hopefully.
will. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Tom.
We're gonna move
Yeah.
on to someone else who's
All
waiting.
right.
Tom.
Just
Dinah.
congratulations. Good
Love you.
Thank
job.
you.
Love you too. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Tom. Thank you.
Dinah. Dinah's been
Oh,
waiting.
go ahead. Hon.
Oh, Dinah. I asked Dinah to come on because, well, Dinah. Hi, Dinah.
Hi.
So
Hello.
Dinah just contacted us about a week ago and told us her story.
Yeah.
And Dinah has a YouTube channel. It's called Dinah Lost. And if you can go on her channel, it's quite a story. But go ahead, whatever you want to say, Dinah.
Yeah, I mean that's my little like my start, my shaky beginning as I called it because it's I'm not really it actually took me a minute to try to figure out how to get on here.
Well,
Look,
thank you
not
for coming on.
we're helped every inch of the way through tonight.
Yes.
right.
We didn't-
Yeah, so I'm just kind of going step by step
Thank
and
you.
I just wanted to come on and say that I really appreciate everybody that's been out there trying to expose the truth because I always, avoided trying to look at the apostates, you guys.
No, we're
I know.
Even
terrible.
when I
We're
wasn't
so
going to the
bad.
We're
Kingdom Hall.
terrible. We're
Yeah,
graduates.
it was just like,
Dinah, we're
you guys had thorns and thistles, and this is
Oh,
like,
yeah. We got
you
fire
know,
coming out of our mouth.
Dinah, we're
right?
graduates. We're graduates. We're not,
Yeah,
we're
it's
graduates.
insane, and but I've always lived my life guarded, so it's I don't have friends much in the area. I have friends from a distance. It always stayed that way. Once I moved away from who I grew up with, they were all Jehovah's Witnesses, anyways. But I had
Yeah.
recently connected with some high school friends that they talked about. Oh, she was so sweet and whatnot, and they found me because they were like, you disappeared off the face of the planet. We didn't, you graduated and I did. I moved. So and they were, but I was like, well, I didn't keep anybody's number, and I was told not to have associations like outside of the organization other than the preaching work. So if they're not interested in studying, then
Yeah.
they're not a good friend. They're not going to be a good friend to you because they're not going to lead you to Jehovah. So I didn't make any friends, but they were associates. Of course, I talked in high school. I had to sit next to people uncomfortably, especially when Jehovah's
Yeah.
Witnesses came up. I mean, I'm gonna make a video about school and being a Jehovah's Witness because it was a really big deal for me.
Yeah.
Because I was the third one going through school, so I was not only being judged as the
Yeah.
third child coming through, but as the third
Third witness.
Jehovah's Witness
Yeah.
child You know, was I going to be the model Jehovah's Witness, or and it was just, so I have a lot, you know, to talk about with high school.
Yeah.
I bet
But
you do.
Yeah, and that'll be, and I think of our family too with that, our young ones, what they might have gone through for that. It's a good conversation, discussion that you can have with each other. It would
yeah,
help. Yeah.
and to see that they were looking for me, it was just like one of these scenarios happened one after another. It was, they tried to contact me. I saw some old photos, and I saw an old poem that I wrote as a senior, and I had a really emotional day. I just busted out in tears
Mm.
because I remembered, they made me write, did I regret any decisions in my childhood? That was the story, that like what I was supposed to write, and I was like, I don't want to write this. So when I was
That was
reading it, I was just like, because
yeah,
I just kind of just slapped words on there. And I
yeah,
remember
that was,
writing it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was so uncomfortable. I couldn't even tell the truth on
no,
paper.
I don't understand that. I can see that. Yeah.
Um, I know you mentioned it in your video, but tell the folks what it was like, how you had a hard time even looking at yourself. Um, just can you say a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, I mean, my self-esteem has always been um, super low. So I'm embarrassed to look at myself most of the time, because I'm like, this is it. This is as good as it gets, and that's always been my mentality. But that was my upbringing. That was my mom's mentality towards herself, and my sister towards her. Like, nobody was ever good enough, and that was in every aspect of our life, and it was a building block of the organization and their teachings. Like, you had to be better, you had to keep being better, and you had to
Yeah.
keep being better at everything. So
Yeah.
that was applied to every aspect of
Yeah.
our lives. It was applied to our appearance. It was applied
Mhm.
to if we were fat or thin or active or not. People with health conditions were ostracized because they
Yeah.
couldn't keep up. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it was
So
just,
Donna,
so, and it,
so how have you seen the adjustments needed for that? How do you see that now?
I'm sorry, repeat that.
Well, how do you see what kind of difference in thinking or approach to that have you seen? The,
Well, having to edit my video, it takes a lot, to edit out,
yeah,
because I'm talking a lot about things that not necessarily the story. It will just go on, because I have so many feelings and so much to say. So I literally have to go and listen
yeah,
to myself, and to have to
yeah.
do that
Uh-huh.
is a powerful thing, because I've
Mhm.
never looked at myself that way as a
Mhm.
person who has feelings, because
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
always told my feelings didn't matter.
They they don't count.
I
They don't
know,
count.
I know. It's a terrible thing they
Yeah.
do. They don't. You're not validated as a person.
No, I mean, I work. You make me think. The it's only Jehovah's thoughts that matter, not yours, not yours.
And I was worried
But
about coming on here because I knew I was going to cry.
That's
yeah,
okay. That's all right. That's we like tears. That's okay. That's your feelings, and people really appreciate when people come on and tell their
see
story.
what you're doing is proving that you matter.
Yes,
You're doing
and
that.
you do
You
matter.
see, you are doing that right now, and you do matter.
Right.
And so you've taken that step to do that. And that's
But
hard.
I've always been a passionate person, and always tried to help people out and be, friends. So it's like, it's a huge blow to me, because, I always thought I was helping people. So it's like, it took that away from me too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because it's like, I dedicated my life to do that, because
Uh
I
huh.
thought I was helping people.
Uh huh.
And
Uh huh.
fortunately, I was so uncomfortable with doing Bible studies, I didn't ruin anybody's lives. Nobody got baptized on my account, so I'm appreciative of that.
Us either. Yeah, no, I hear you.
But I couldn't pray in public, and I was ostracized for it, and they, I wasn't a good example. I wasn't a good pioneer. If I didn't say the prayer, they kept saying you need to volunteer to say the prayer, and I was just like, I'm not comfortable. Like I didn't know what I was praying to.
Yeah.
And it's like how I can't do this in front of people. It's like, what am I talking to? Oh, like the ground, because we're putting our head down. Are we
Yeah.
ashamed?
I know.
I
Crazy.
just, I just didn't know, and they
Crazy.
kept pressuring me.
It's crazy.
Like all of it was, I going through therapy with a therapist who doesn't understand Jehovah's Witnesses is hard because I'm having to explain a lot of stuff. So it's
Yeah.
very helpful to hear people that have been
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
in the same situation, because the
Wow.
amount of trauma that was unleashed in October is unbearable.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, you made it through. You've got your
You s-
YouTube videos. You're on here tonight, and
Oh
people
yeah,
are
it's
in the chat. They're saying we love you, and you've got everybody's support here.
thank you so much, everyone, and I am getting better. So don't
you
let the
know,
tears fool you. It
Dinah,
is, it
there
is.
is
I am getting,
and just
when I see my face, I see myself in a different way, and I'm proud of it because I never recognized the person behind the mirror, and now I'm starting to see her, and it's like it's a relief because I don't have
beautiful.
to be so perfect.
That's right.
Dinah,
That's right.
just to reassure you, no one can do better than what you're doing.
That's right.
They can't do better. In other words, there's no other way than to do it than what you're doing.
Yeah,
And so in other words, it works. It works. You see, you didn't do it before because, of course, you were so indoctrinated and tracked in that organization. Now you're doing it. You're doing
oh yeah.
it, and it can't be taken away from you.
That was
Um,
those are my coming out words was, why do they have such a hold on me still? And I was
Oh,
literally going to the ground in tears
yeah,
because I
yeah,
didn't understand
yeah.
why they pulled my emotions so well, like why I cared so much about what they thought when they've
Well,
never done anything for me.
well. How about this? Do you think you might have invested something in them? You
Like
weren't just there.
emotionally.
No, well, see, you weren't just there. See, you, as so many other people, you made an investment. You
Oh
invested
no,
in
yeah,
her.
they took the first half of my life.
Well,
I mean,
and
that was
in a
my
way, see, you may want to look too in terms of the fact that you did give it too. See, you gave
yes,
it, and
I did.
that was by your agreement. Well, just as
Hmm.
you agreed to give it, guess what?
I can
You know,
take
so
it away.
you can take it away. You can take it away too.
He who giveth taketh away.
That's right.
Taketh
That's
away.
right. It's in your hands, and you're doing it, and you're doing it.
I just have to read Debbie's message to you. She said, Dinah, it's okay to cry. When is your birthday? Do you mind sharing your age? You matter. You're an
Um,
amazing woman with a beautiful heart, and you are enough. We love you. So
Thank you. I really appreciate that. That's very sweet.
she's wondering when your
My
birthday is.
mine is May 31st, so I was almost a bug, just not quite there. So I'm a withered flower. That's
No.
what,
Almost about this. Okay.
like
No.
we always
Wait a
I've
minute.
always had a joke with my friends that I was Eeyore, because I've had that kind of dark dark
Uh,
humor of,
yeah,
but
yeah,
Eeyore smiles.
yeah,
Eeyore
yeah.
smiles.
Dinah.
Mm,
Well, Debbie wants to get in contact
yeah.
with you, so do you mind if we give her your information privately?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
She's a
Okay.
beautiful lady.
Yes, she really
Oh,
feels
yay.
for you. Yes.
Yeah,
so
my
we-
friend, I hope she comes on and sees this, but she's was an ex Jehovah's Witness as well, and she was disfellowshipped and she was in Germany. She moved away, and she was disfellowshipped when I was raped when I was 20, and I called her and I said I think something bad just happened, and she's the one that called the police. So if it wasn't for her, who knows? They probably would have said, "Well, it's your fault," you know. And nothing would have happened, but nothing did happen. But she's struggling with. I feel like we all have mental problems from it. She thinks hers are from family as well, and I think we all have family issues, no matter if we're Jehovah's
Oh, that's so
Witnesses or
that is
there's
so true.
Catholicism have narcissism, with their parenting throughout that as well.
That is so
So
true.
we're trying to focus on stopping the cycle and
Yeah.
figuring out what was so hurtful to us and
You know,
change that in our children.
this is exactly the time we're living through now. Donna. This really is. In fact, I just relate it to you. Maybe there's a song. It goes way back. It was back in the '70s. It's called "The Dawning of the Age of Aquarius." Are you familiar with that song? It's old.
No.
Okay, it's old. Aquarius, the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Look it up sometime and see what it means to you.
Okay.
We are going through that now, individually and as a people. So many things are being exposed, and so many people are awakening. And this is the time that we're going through, and it's a difficult, but it's enlightening, both at the same time.
Dinah,
Absolutely.
also Gary Alt that was on earlier. He's a life coach. He said Bonnie Zeman's book, Cracking the Cult Code for Therapists, doesn't recommend any specific therapy, just educates therapists on the unique needs of JWs. Make sure your therapist reads that
Yeah.
if
It-
she doesn't find a new therapist.
Yeah, no joke.
Somebody's
there.
Yeah, I think that's my cue. But yes, I'll
yes,
definitely look into that.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
Dinah, seriously, if you still go with that same therapist, require them to do their research on the witnesses.
Yeah.
I will.
Cracking
I
the
will.
cult code. Cracking the cult code
Yeah.
is called. Okay.
You
Night, honey.
contact us
Okay.
whenever you want.
Thank you guys. Thanks
We love
everyone.
you. Love you,
Thank
Dinah.
you.
Leave studio.
Bye.
Eric, yeah. Eric, looks like Eric wants to come on. Eric?
Hey guys, how you
you're on
doing?
stage. Good,
Good,
Eric.
Eric.
Good to hear you.
Yeah, good to hear from you too. I just wanted to say it's good to see you on another show, and or that you guys are still here, and I support you guys. And for the last caller, uh, Watchtower has hurt us all, and it's so important for us to heal from it. And Rick has provided that, and Joe and Fran meet up or help people meet up and for us all to heal. And I don't mean to bring a little negativity in the show. I hope I don't. But when the caller David on Rick's show always tells us that we're crybabies over the beard thing, I just wanted to bring that up, that the reason why the beard thing is such an issue, and I know I have a long one and I'm biased for it, but I didn't always have one. And the reason why it's such a big deal is because it's such a small, insignificant matter that never had to be brought up in the first place. And it took them 100 years to figure out that, oh, okay, you can have one now. And it's just like a screw you.
I know.
And I'm sorry if I'm being a little vulgar, but it is a screw you to us because they've micromanaged us so much to the point where it is one of the biggest issues talked about right now is beards. And it reminds me of the circumcision issue, and they even brought that up because men are talking about the skin on another man's penis, and it's just really bizarre to me why that's an issue. But now we've even gotten worse. We're talking about the hair and how much hair you can have on a man's face. something that grows naturally. Both things, I guess.
It just points out their mentality. You know, it points out how low they are. That's all it does. It really does. It really does.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna, even though some people say we're being crybabies about it, I beg to differ. I think that we're watching these weak men who hate to see their fall of their empire, and it's like try to grab on to anything that's left to it, basically, and do anything that they can. And I think they're hurting themselves. And I think that, me personally, I think that Anthony Morris was I think a lot of people feel this way, that he wasn't having it and they let him go for it. And,
Yeah, I think so.
they tell you not to cause division. And this is going to be my final thoughts. They tell you not to cause division, but they're causing so much division that they have division, what it seems to me, in my opinion, amongst their own ranks. Tony Morris. I truly believe that at this point in the game, that I've met Tony Morris. He's a tough SOB. He's stubborn. He's loyal, and he's not going to go down with this, in my opinion. And I think he said, "You guys are crazy for doing this," and I think this is our outcome from it. But they're if they have division amongst the governing body, then they are the creators of division. They can't even keep themselves together, and that's all I wanted to add. But I love you guys, and I think you. I'll check out your YouTube channel, and is it up now? Can I check it out?
Okay, so
Yeah,
next,
I'll subscribe, and love you
yes,
guys, and
thank you, Eric.
Yeah.
I'll stay
Good.
tuned. Yep.
Thank you. Say
Thanks,
hi to
Fran.
Desiree. Thank
I
you.
will.
Eric,
Thank
and
you so
just
much. Thanks, Joe.
Eric, and just for what it's worth, too, Eric, you're not going to hear from David again. He's
Why is
not.
that?
He's well because we know all about him, and
Yeah.
Rick knows all about him too.
Oh, he does. Good. He's a troll.
Oh, he's beyond a troll. He's beyond
Yeah.
a troll, way beyond a troll.
My
Yeah, we
wife
should,
sees his comments in the comment sections, and then between that and the phone calls, and then he goes on other platforms and tears it up
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
no,
He's a
he
spy
does.
or traitor.
he's a nasty man. He's really
Yeah,
he's really
because even when I gave my comment about the beards, and he was telling us we're crybabies, and I told him I was a bleeder, a hemophiliac. I mean, this is legit. I have it severely. It's type A. And he's like, well, the guy with the hemophilia thing, I guess I can say, you guess? Come on, man. And I'm not the worst of it, because that was just a little superficial bleeding. Other people, they break out in rashes if they shave, and they beg the elders to not shave, and they said, no, you have to shave. I mean, I've heard all kinds of stories. It's awful, guys. But it's such a small thing could blow up the organization. You guys have a great night. Thanks for listening to me.
Oh, you
Thank you,
too.
Eric.
Thank
We
you,
love
Eric.
you.
We love you too.
Love you too.
Take care.
Bye. Wow, been 1, 2, 3 hours.
Is there Mimi?
Oh,
Do we have
Mimi?
someone else? Is there a Mimi?
Oh, Mimi. Mimi's I see you. I've been seeing her comments. Hi,
Hi.
Mimi.
Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Hi. Well, now I had to hop on because I had a really bad experience with David on Gigi's channel,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Bad guy.
yeah, and
Bad,
then that's
bad,
what
bad.
caused me. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm listening.
That's what caused me to really research his channel and find out
Yes.
exactly who that is and how
Oh
sick
yeah.
he is.
He's
Yes,
He's
he
low.
very
is.
disturbed.
Yes, he is.
There's a saying. He's lower than a snake's belly in a truck track, and that's low.
Yeah.
And that's very
He
very low.
said he makes humor of people that are depressed.
Yeah.
He thinks it helps them
Yeah.
to be made fun of when they're depressed. How low can you go?
No, actually, he's making sport of it.
Yeah.
He makes sport of it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, absolutely.
I told Rick too. I called Rick and I told him I sent him some of his videos and I explained to him what he was all about.
Thank you so much for doing that because I wanted to do that, but honestly, it's just it was so unsettling for me, the
Oh, it's
whole
terrible.
experience.
Terrible to know
And
that there's people like that. It's terrible.
yeah, and I don't know if Gigi is listening tonight, but I don't really honestly know what to think uh of him personally. Um because he basically said, "Oh, I would love to go party with you, David, on this live." And I'm just like, "Wow." The guy talked about he was in the room when somebody was supposedly raping someone. I know you're not supposed to say that word on YouTube. Um not David, but supposedly his friend got accused of it. I mean, it was just a whole like it
I
was
know.
like horrible.
Yeah. No, that won't. It, it won't stick around long. It won't.
Yeah.
A person is not going to get away with that around
Right.
good company. Good company
Right.
avoids bad company, and
And I
he's
just
bad
want to say,
company.
everybody, just be cautious of who you speak to on even on YouTube and on the
Yeah.
internet. And I'm not bashing Gigi, but it was a very uncomfortable situation, and I think people should just be very cautious.
Yes, I totally agree with you. I totally agree. No, I'm glad you mentioned it too because I couldn't let it go.
Yeah, yeah.
Good,
And
good.
thank you so much for tonight. I don't want to keep you on because I know you guys are tired and you went for a really long time.
Yeah, I feel like
Yes, yes,
feel like my eyes are
Yeah.
out.
yeah. We've been going 3 hours,
Yeah.
2,
Yeah.
3 hours. We're doing a marathon.
No,
Yeah,
thank
we
you,
love you so much, so we can't get enough.
Thank
So,
you. Thank you, Mimi.
love
Well,
you
just
too, Mimi.
come back next week and we'll be
We'll
on
give a
Joe
call when you
and
can. You
Fran
gotta,
Carino.
if you
Yeah,
have our
call us,
phone
okay,
Mimi.
number, give us a
if
call sometime, Mimi.
I will definitely do that. And if you guys need my help for being a mod on your channel, I'm absolutely willing, and
Oh,
it's an
thank
honor
you.
for me because
Thank
I
you.
love you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
you guys
Oh,
take
Mimi,
care. Have a
one
good
more
night.
thing.
Bye
Yes.
bye bye.
Mimi, when
Mm-hmm.
is your birthday?
Oh, December 17th.
Oh, yeah.
Woo,
Well, just the
whoops,
other
missed that.
day. Happy belated
Yeah,
birthday.
I'm a Sagittarius.
Wow.
Nice.
December
No,
17th. Oh, yeah, I got it down here.
okay.
Okay, Mimi.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Well, I
happy.
go by ICU now. I actually
Yes.
changed my name,
Yes,
so
I got you down as I see you.
I see.
Yes, so give us
right.
a call or text us or whatever so we can talk a little more.
Yes, okay,
We'd like
great.
to get to know you better. Okay, thank
Love
you. I
I
see
you.
will do
you.
that.
Okay,
Take
love
care,
you.
everyone. Love
You
Okay,
too.
you.
bye. Love
Love
Bye
you
you
bye.
too.
too. Don says happy birthday. That was a really nice. We really appreciate everyone coming on. Let's see. I
Yes.
kept track of how many people actually came on and spoke. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 people, and then a couple repeats. We had 11 people come on. We really appreciate that. We
Yes.
had no idea how this was going to go. And we really appreciate that
no.
Vern and Shauna helping us out. If you're
If you're
there,
there, Vern, Shauna, hello, hello.
yeah, I think we want to end it and
Yes.
get some sleep.
Yeah, like you.
Vern or Shauna,
Well,
hello?
let's see. Unless we'll just do the Leave Studio. No. We love you guys.
Yes,
Thank
we
you so
love you.
much. Everyone else here who's still there.
Yes, thank you for
Thank you
coming
so
on.
much.
Oh, wait a minute. Here's Vern.
Ah.
Amazing. Haven't had this kind of contact.
Thank you, Vern.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you
Hi.
guys for having us
It was a
on.
pleasure. A very
Nice.
good show. We were watching it in the other room,
Oh,
and
nice.
so that's why you didn't see me behind the scenes here that much.
Yeah.
Very good show.
Yes,
Thank you.
excellent.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
making it happen.
Yes, we appreciate you hosting us.
I think we can
You shut my
handle it.
speaker off, eh? You shut.
Yeah, yeah,
so-
we should be able to
okay.
handle
Oh
it.
yeah, no, yeah, you guys did really great. So
Well,
thank
so YouTube you'll have next week. Are you going to go on every night? You going to do this every night or what?
Every Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday at 7
Oh.
o'clock Eastern Standard
Every night.
Time.
24/7.
Or you could have book studies, little study groups with Justin's new brochure.
Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
We're thinking of doing that.
fabulous. Yeah.
No, we would one step at a time, right? Baby steps.
That's
It's
right.
we're building a
That's right.
platform or a life raft,
Yes.
right?
Oh
That's
yeah,
right.
you're
So
doing
it's
fine. You're doing
it's
great.
it's a life raft.
Someone was wondering if they'll be able to see it on a replay. So was this taped?
Yes.
Okay, so they
Yeah.
can see this. Okay.
They can see this whole show. It'll be on YouTube streaming as we
Great.
shut off here. We're going to end the stream. It'll be on. You can watch it.
Okay, great.
you.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. You
Well, we
guys are
appreciate
great.
that.
Yeah, great things happening.
So,
Yes.
Great things happening.
when every Wednesday night you're going to have a show on your channel, then, eh?
Every
At
Wednesday.
this point, unless something changes, but
Yeah, Joe and Fran Garino. That's all they have to do is, if
Mhm.
they haven't already subscribed, we
Right.
appreciate them. And if you didn't give this
Mhm.
a like, please give it a like.
she heard that before somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Everybody says give it a like and
Yes,
whatever.
well, it helps. I think at one point, I think the highest we had, I don't know, maybe Shauna knows, but I saw 103 watching, but it would fluctuate, some were coming in, some
Mhm.
were going out. But I think the most
Yeah.
I saw was 103.
So we could start advertising, do some little videos, advertise your show every Wednesday night, make it a big thing all across the
thank you.
world. And I think the next thing is to get you guys up over 1,000 subscribers.
Wow.
So to push this up over 1,000 subscribers, and we can all have a part in doing that. Anybody that's watching this show, they can share this. They can email it to friends. Joe and Fran's link, and I think that's where the show will be next, right, Joe?
Yes.
It's on your
That's what
show.
we're-
It's on your
that's
channel.
what we're planning on.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
As long as
So
we can figure out all the little links.
Mechanics,
But yeah,
the
we might
mechanics.
need help with the,
oh,
setting
we
up
can
the
be there as
mechanics.
the host. We can help you in the background.
Thank you.
No
Well,
one will even know we're back there.
Okay.
So otherwise, what we would do to initiate it, Vern, is we just simply go on
StreamYard.
StreamYard and
Yeah. So yeah, we can do this all through StreamYard. You can have up to 6 people. So 6 people? No.
They can have 10. They have a different plan.
Oh, okay. You guys have a different plan. You can have up to 10 people
Mm-hmm.
in your backstage. So that's great. You're setting up a really nice life raft for people. And like the one fella said, I think there's so many holes in the ark. They called it the ark. That this boat's sinking and people are jumping off.
they're drilling
And
holes.
jump off before you get into the storm. Like we're not
Right.
yet into the really rocky stage. Jump off now.
No, that's right.
Yeah, get off.
No, so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, and I
And we're
really
setting up this
appreciate-
life raft. So great.
Yes. I appreciate how this platform is where you can let people in and out,
Yeah.
and so everybody has a chance to talk and they don't interrupt.
Yeah.
And it's
So
really
now,
nice.
just to make sure that there's only space for 2 at a time.
Well, I think
No,
that-
10.
10.
I think
10.
that they just
So in
get-
other
You
words,
guys can hold 10.
We could add them in.
yes.
Sure.
You can add a
Oh.
few more in, yes. It just gets a little bit, yeah. We'll go over that later this weekend.
Yeah, we'll talk off stage. We're actually live right now, so we can end this stream.
Okay.
Let's end this stream. Let's say goodbye to the audience, and we've had a
Bye,
great
everyone.
audience. You're
Thank
still-
you so much.
Love you all.
I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
come
Thank you.
off.
Love you all. Thank you.
Oh, maybe I
Studio.
shouldn't have left. I'm gonna stay. Are they still?
I guess they have to end it
Oh, so if they ended up,
live. It's still going live. Leave studio.
I guess
Oh,
we're leaving
okay.
studio.
There